again. So we are almost done with the longest list that y'all have had to tackle. So we walked through all of the new position requests, and then we finished the morning with finalizing the salary, individual salary requests. The next piece I'll cover are the reclassification requests. So these are positions that currently exist, however, the departments are repurposing them in a new way or having additional functions added. So these requests do come with a change in salary. So one of the ones we can take first, I think that will be the simplest or the most straightforward, is for Road and Bridge Precinct 1, their specialist position, because we kind of touched on that already in the morning. And so this is part of that consolidating the yard administrative positions. So this is the position at Precinct 1. It's presented as an increase, but it's an increase to that consolidated position. So really, they're eliminating one of the positions. And I think, for instance, I don't know what, that'll just be 50% under each precinct's budget, right? So we could, if the court's okay with it, I could just put a yes on this line item because it just goes together with that previous yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then we have, I don't know why this has a no, this is an accident. So we have here, just to keep it with Road and Bridge Precinct 1, they're also requesting a reclassification of an existing equipment operator position to a senior equipment operator position that will also actually have mechanic functions. And so the mechanic and the senior equipment operator positions belong to the same pay grade and have the same salaries. And so it'll be this flex position between senior equipment.
Yeah, and I'll be glad to speak to that when you're ready.
Yes, it'll be this flex position between senior equipment operator and mechanic. And also, just to note, the amount of senior positions under this precinct would align with the amount of senior equipment operator positions amongst the other precincts as well. So that's all I have.
One of the things that I've mentioned before, and it's my choice, is I have held off purchasing any big equipment for our precinct. As a result, the average age of my road paving equipment is 5 years older than the closest next precinct. And as a result, we have more repairs that we have to do in that area, and we're needing that extra person to help with that. That's just the nature of the game. If you don't keep your equipment new or up to date, and ours has gotten older, and we've pulled any requests this year for any big equipment. And it's still a net savings for the precinct because I didn't replace that administrative position that we took some of the money and put it in 1 and 4. And this difference is how much?
The increase here is 4,600.
Okay, that still leaves probably close to 30,000 saving by eliminating that administrative position that we eliminated. So that's the reason behind needing that extra help in the mechanic shop for me.
Okay. Any questions on that? Your consensus?
Yes. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Keeping it with Road and Bridge, Precinct 4, I mean, we can wait, I'm sorry, we could wait until Commissioner Perry's here, if that's,
We'll be
So,
back to that.
Anna, I'm actually on the phone.
oh, great, okay. So Precinct 4, Road and Bridge is requesting that to reclassify their existing crew member position to a heavy truck driver position. So this is a part of their ongoing pipeline that they've created. So they bring in someone without a CDL, actually offer them that professional development in-house. This person in this position now has gained that CDL license, and so they want to now reclassify this as a heavy truck driver position. The Commissioner Perry put this forward after deleting or removing his add to staff request, because this originally was just a request for an additional position. Now he's removed that and wants to just reclassify his existing crew member position. In the request includes the ability to bring that budgeted salary up to what is now the standard budgeted salary for heavy truck drivers, which is $57,513, so a difference or an increase of $13,620.
I'm okay with it.
you okay with it?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yes.
Okay. All right,
All right, and guys, really the thought behind that was if we're gonna eliminate that position, we don't know if we'll ever come back and ask for it again, so we just take that crew member position. He's already doing CDL work anyway, and so we need to make sure he's being competent or classified correctly.
I understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Next, going easiest to most difficult. Next, I have Constable Precinct 4. So they have a request to reclassify a deputy constable position to a deputy constable chief position. So they currently have 2 deputy constable positions and no chief, and it is the only precinct that does not have a chief. Even Precinct 3 that only has 1 position, that one or single position under their budget is a chief. And so they're just wanting to identify that chief position. It comes with a salary increase request of $18,116. HR does recommend it just because it's the only precinct that doesn't have one.
How do you have a chief without them being over somebody?
They have a part-timer that works a few hours out of the week. So technically, they do have
You're a part-time chief then.
a part-time person they're over.
That's a lot of money difference.
A lot of money difference. What, is this in line with the rest of the,
Yes, that's the salary for the chiefs amongst the constables.
from 1 all the way to 5?
Yes, sir.
And that individual's been acting in that capacity
I believe so, sir, yes.
because there wasn't a
Have they ever had a
over
chief?
it.
No. Not since I've been reviewing requests, no. They've never had a chief.
But then again, you go back, it's, we parodied, we fixed some other stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I hate to,
I'm not arguing that.
I know it's $18,000, but obviously it needs to be fair for everybody.
Have they made this request before?
No, it was actually a recommendation from my office last year because they wanted to add a position last year as well. Because they were stating that this other person had more administrative functions and budget functions. Like, well, that's a chief. If they're overseeing the budget, why don't you just reclassify the position to a
Well, they
chief
look-
position?
They listen to you, so.
So this year they listened to me and they put
Way to
forward the
go.
request.
Well, go
I'm
on.
not arguing that it's fair is fair.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing.
I'd say yes on that one.
Yeah, I'm okay. Grudgingly.
I'm good with it.
I am for now. We may have to come back and start over again when we get to the bottom line, but yeah.
I think you are gonna have to.
Yeah, I'm not arguing at all, Will.
Okay, the remaining reclassification requests are from the county sheriff. So the first one is this, they have an existing clerk position, and they want to repurpose this position to fulfill the a legislative mandate they're
PIO?
receiving.
House Bill 33.
Yes, they're going to call it a public information digital media officer. This is not a law enforcement position. It is a civilian position. The request is to bring the position from $43,220 to $65,000. And that's just based off of peer and market information. Is this where the salary is coming from? 65,000?
No, I'm not ready for that until we see that there's a need. I understand that you got to name somebody. This is what I don't understand. I've read the law. I pulled it and read explanations about it, everything like that. Just like what happened last Friday with the bomb scare. The spokesperson for that department is always going to be either the sheriff or the chief deputy. Public information, giving out public information. So when is it going to happen that that other person is going to step in front of the cameras and do that instead of those two people? It almost seems to me.
Probably not gonna
that-
happen here at
It
this county.
almost seems to me, and I'm not throwing anything on Jake's back, but it almost seems to me, because I think he did a lot of the speaking the other day, providing information, that initially let him be PIO and then see how much responsibilities or what's the additional
What's the,
responsibility that he ends up having to do. that we
what's
need
the
to add that
meaning?
spot.
So that was my
Don't
idea.
talk over each other.
I'm sorry.
So you're, go ahead.
Go ahead, Will.
No, I was just saying that's my idea. Does it have to be, do we have to have a whole new person, whole new position? Can this be integrated into somebody else's asking more duty?
And I think that is what they're trying to do. It is an existing clerk position. They're tacking on this function. And so the request is to reclassify it an existing position, not add a new position. But designating a current employee as a PIO, I don't know if that meets the requirement in the bill. I could read out the language here.
There's a class you have to go to, and then some updates each year, I think, with it. But again, who's going to be the face of that department when it comes time, or any department, really, other than the department head, that's going to speak to the public?
Yeah. And generally, it is the elected official department head, but in general, non-law enforcement, general statements that go out generally come from my office.
They do.
But if it's a tax office, then, Randy Riggs says, I just want to inform the public, this is the deal. So, and that's very appropriate. And so I don't know how, that makes it, that we have to create something that we don't need right now. Commissioner Wilson?
Well, I was just saying, what is that House bill? I haven't read it all. I mean, I was a PIO and I had to go to classes every year and I was the spokesman in front of the camera. Even if my colonel was there, I would still talk. But what's the media? So is the chief deputy or the sheriff, if he gets labeled this, is he gonna have to do the social media, all that? Because that's gonna be in a different realm, verbiage-wise, in that House bill. That you need to be specially trained in public information to put out to the public, not only just getting in front of the camera.
But that's so much of it.
Well, the city of
All those
Waco,
positions.
city of Waco has their PIO that she's a civilian. And she talks in front of all the camera if there's something bad that happens now. But, Patrick Swanton used to do that job.
You just hate.
And there was a lady before that too, I can't remember her name. but
Yes, yeah, so I do see them trying to use a clerk to move that person up if that position, that salary, it's not a whole lot, but more, but I understand where you're coming from too, both of y'all, so.
The state continues to give us sound advice. And so, and some counties may need it, but some don't.
Right.
I just can't see our elected officials not being the ones
But I just think
to
there's
go
more,
before the camera.
but I think there's more than a job, more to the job than going in front of the camera.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't argue that, but, you know, and if you don't mind me regressing just a little bit to a
Sure.
story.
Yeah.
My background, I was in a profession that we just couldn't go out and hire extra people, okay?
Gotcha.
And the state said, you gotta have a designated textbook custodian. Well, the high school principal had most of the textbooks. So the high school principal became the textbook custodian, responsible to the state for all the textbooks throughout the whole district. We just didn't add people because there was a responsibility came on. We looked around and said, who's gonna get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's where the money was, or wasn't.
Well, so back to what's the court want to do?
I mean, do we need to look at more what the House bill really, the verbiage says, or what do you think it says, Anna?
It says, each of the following entities shall employ or appoint a public information officer who must obtain certification in emergency communications from the division and complete continuing educations on emergency communications. And so those entities include municipality, a county, a sheriff's office, and a school district, and then so on.
But it doesn't say, it say something, what about the county? It says in a county, it's the sheriff's office? What, say it again?
No, a county is its own
We have,
entity.
we'll have to have one too.
Right. And so somebody.
So we have emergency management director, we have a sheriff that deals with law enforcement deals. We have elected officials that people want to hear from, you know, they elected them to. And then when there's general statements, we generally frame them up, using proper forms to have communication coming out of our office with Dustin, Reagan, and myself and Cody working on it as well, so.
So in our position, Judge, with the county,
You're gonna have to.
we're gonna have to name a PIO also
Yeah,
for us. And if we do that, then we need to refer information request or somebody to speak to that person, right?
well, so the PIO person, can't they say, Sheriff, you need to speak to this, or
I don't know.
county judge?
Well,
I mean,
we did.
it's more of-
I did, you know.
Yeah, you have to follow the guidelines, but it doesn't mean, in my thought, it doesn't always have to be that person doing the talking. That person needs to connect it and get them together and be sure there's a statement out.
I just think that's,
Exactly.
I don't know that they even know when they
Yeah.
wrote this exactly what all was entailed in it.
What would make you think they didn't know what they were doing?
Sorry about that, Judge. Dumb statement.
Ben, do you have anything?
Yeah, well, the question I have is, can one person do both? Can we have one person that does the sheriff and the county itself instead of having two separate ones?
So the way, Judge, I'm sorry, my camera's not coming on, but
Okay.
the way it reads, it lists a county and a sheriff's office separately, so it appears we would need two.
What's our deadline?
Well, as
I don't have an
as
effective
the
date.
state
in front of
does,
me.
it makes 0 sense to make you have two different people when it's the same county. That's the state.
My understanding, Commissioner, is that if you appoint the person now, they have to have that certification by September 1 of 2026. If the appointment is after that
After.
date, they have a calendar year's time to get that certification.
I think that's the key to solving the problem.
Is that what you read?
I don't have an effective date.
I
in
read
front of me.
it. That's why I read it.
Dustin, that sound like a,
I'm looking for it now. Give me 1 second. Not later than the first anniversary of the date the public information officer was hired or appointed and complete a continuing education program once during each month, 12-month period. So Commissioner, I'm not seeing that September 1st. I may just be missing it, but the way what I'm reading is public information officer shall obtain certification from the division not later than the first anniversary of the date the officer was hired or appointed.
Okay, so you don't see a deadline that one must be appointed by a certain date?
I do not. I'm scrolling and looking,
didn't
but I
see
do
one
not see
either.
that.
I'm not sure.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me to appoint someone if you know someone else is gonna be the person that's giving out the information. And I see that happening in some of the offices, some of the, you know, but there again,
Yes.
well, let's hold off on it.
We'll defer that till we get better understanding of it. Okay, what's next?
So next, still with the county sheriff, we have 3 current deputy positions that they would like to reclassify as investigators. So that's 1 rank above the deputy position, and so that would be an increase of $10,890 for each of the 3 positions. And so these positions just to get you a total, that's $32,670 for all 3 positions. The deputies currently are doing the pre-employment background screening and background investigations for incoming hires. So that involves reviewing their PSR, contacting all their, known associates, previous employers, requesting files from if they're public agencies, requesting those files. That's part of the process that they conduct. And I think David Ives mentioned this to you, and I found the same where when we survey other peer agencies, there's not a consistent practice amongst the peer agencies as to which position conducts these or whether they're called investigators. It's very case-by-case basis. And then the current investigators in the sheriff's office do some sort of criminal investigations. And so I have that HR assessment as just an other, only because I lack data to provide an assessment. And I feel like the court, having a good depth of law enforcement experience, would know better than me if they should be called investigators.
Go ahead, Ben.
Well, if they're gonna do something other than, if they're gonna assist on investigating cases, I can see that. But if it's just, they're gonna continue to just do pre-employment screening, I don't know that I feel they need to be labeled investigators.
Anna, just double checking, are all those 3 deputies now that you know who they are? Where are they at on their steps? Because they probably, is that just a low pay for a?
Those are base salaries.
Okay, so
If-
they're probably, if I'm guessing, I'm gonna say that those 3 deputies aren't base salaries. So it's probably not gonna cost $32,000.
You're right, yes, they
Yeah.
probably are not they're probably not
Yeah,
all.
because they're
base.
probably higher up. If they're doing those kind of investigations for backgrounds, they're probably more tenured deputies, so it's probably not gonna be that $30,000.
Right, but if any one of
Might be
those
like-
positions were to become vacant,
Yes, it would go back, yes.
That makes sense, Leo.
Here's the point.
Did y'all hear him say that?
Yeah, I understand that, but
Yeah, here's the point I made this morning, and I was very direct to David. Do you want, you gotta quit asking for one or the other. We've added personnel, and now it seems like we're wanting to make salary changes. We've been good, in my mind, and I think they wouldn't argue with us, to SO and giving them what we think they need and they think they need to do an effective job, and they've done an amazing job for the county. They do a great job. But at some point, we got to level off here somehow. We got to level off here somehow, and we got to make do, and this may be the year for it. We got to make do with what we have. I'm just being as blunt as I can. Ben, jump in if you want to, but we just need to say, hey, guys, we need some help. We need to level off this year, step back and take a deep breath and try to get our financing in order. And we need help from everyone.
Hey, Anna, quick question.
Yes.
Anna?
I'm here. Yes, sir.
Are these guys dedicated every hour of the week that they work? Is that what they're doing? Or are they doing having other responsibilities as well?
As far as I'm aware, that is their primary function. I don't know
Yes.
if they're supporting anything other than the pre-employment screening.
But that's on the law enforcement side. It's not,
Is it,
It's for jailers. They're doing it for all jailers and law enforcement.
but not civilians. You do that.
We do conduct our standard background first for all civilians, including the SO civilians. They may do their own too for civilians, to be honest. I don't.
Well, that was my question. Do they who's doing it now?
The civilians, we do our baseline criminal background for all civilian positions, but anything that carries a law enforcement or corrections license, they would be doing the
Yeah,
pre-appointment
that's what I
screening.
meant, yeah.
it's the lieutenants that are doing it now, correct?
I'm sorry,
Isn't it lieutenants that are doing it now?
doing what, the background?
No, that's just internal investigations, I think, right? On internal stuff.
I thought I heard.
Is Major Ives, are you on?
I mean,
Do
that
you
would
mean
be-
like investigating
Yes, I am.
internal conflict? Because then that would be captains doing that.
Captains.
Yes.
Captains,
But that's internal affairs, not pre-employment.
but, okay. Well, who's doing the pre-employment then, right?
These 3 deputies.
So they're just they're not increasing their workload any, correct?
Right, but the request is not related to volume. It is related to the complexity of their functions and whether or not it meets the threshold of what an investigator would do, a peace officer investigator would do.
Not a lot different than what we've discussed as far as changing job description and ending up with more money. They're already doing the job,
Yes, sir.
they're asking for more money.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, David?
So we're not changing the job description. The job description has always been this, that they do this, and we do it for civilians. They do it for civilians as well. So it can be different, potentially for other offices. I don't want to speak on their office, but it doesn't matter if you're civilian, jailer, law enforcement. When you step through these doors, we have to do the full CJIS background investigation, everything, because you're going to have access to CJIS data. CJIS data in this building.
You all right?
You all right, bud?
No. Lunch is at City Well.
Just take a second.
Take a second, yeah.
Hey, while he's doing that, let me fill in a little bit of airtime here. I've seen agencies that do it both ways. I know when I was at Waco PD, it was not an investigator. It was just an officer that was assigned to personnel training and did it. But then I also know I have a nephew at Robinson who's an investigator and he does theirs. So I think you can go either way on this, quite honestly, and not really be that far off the beaten path.
When these
And I
people,
apologize, I'm back.
That's all right.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
sound better.
So, yeah, sorry. But yes, they do that for the civilians, the sworn staff, all alike. The background that we have when they walk through these doors, whether they are dealing directly with our records office, with CJIS information, or if they're dealing with evidence, all of it is CJIS related. So they get the same full meal deal background and background investigation, no matter what. So it is not just we're saying these individuals are just doing pre-employment screening. That is not what's happening. They are going to prior employers, talking to family members, There's a lot involved in getting these people cleared to be able to have access just to the building where we contain that data.
David, have these two people been in the position for a while?
Yes, 2 of the 3 have been in this position for a while. Yes, sir.
And they were hired to do this job?
They were hired to do the job of the background investigation. Yes, sir.
Okay, and they knew what they were paid when they came into it, right? They were told.
Yes, sir. The job description has fundamentally not changed.
Okay.
Major, how many outside agencies do y'all do on background?
So we do that frequently. We have quite a few agencies who there's a conflict of interest. If they do the background, we do it for some other county entities. When that comes up, and it is frequent enough that it is, we always have a background for someone who is not sheriff's office in our office almost at any given moment.
So like the DA investigators, y'all do the backgrounds when they hire there?
I don't think that they're one of the people that typically ask, because I think that they have the full access for
Okay.
CJIS and TLO and stuff like that. But a lot of these other agencies don't, so they call us because we can look at the stuff they can't.
And David, you're right, y'all do the civilian, I'm sorry, so HR does not conduct the civilian backgrounds. He said CJIS, and that just
Because they deal with
opened
all
up the
kinds.
memory. Damn, there.
Other questions? What's the pleasure of the court?
I'm a no.
I'm not keen on it right now.
I think I would be a yes, because I know it's not $30,000. It's probably more like 10 because of the step that those senior deputies are at right now, probably. But Ben?
I'm struggling with this one just because, you know, it's been done by these people forever, and we hadn't asked for anything until now. And not a real good year to ask, in my opinion. I did admit to y'all that I've seen people do it both ways, but it might interest me more if I knew it was $2,000 an officer. But I just don't know that we need to go there right now.
So I took that as a no. All right,
That's how I lean as we speak. That's how I lean. Yes.
Haley. Consensus, no. All right, what's next?
Can we back up real quick to that PIO?
Yeah,
I'm reading further that it says a county PIO may by written policy act as the PIO for the sheriff's office and the constable's office. Constables also have to have a named PIO according to the bill. So you're not just talking about,
so it's not signed, when it says and, it's not meaning together they can share one.
they can, you can have a county PIO may by written policy act as the PIO
For
for the
both.
sheriff's office and the constable in the county.
Well, that would make sense if you have to do it, because they can speak, it's gonna be a law enforcement issue.
That would be a law enforcement issue.
Yeah.
But if you don't, by policy, then it almost sounds like every constable's office would have to have one.
We'd have to write the policy, I guess.
I don't think that,
So that we're gonna have to look at it further and maybe get Dustin to delve into it a little bit
Yeah.
further and decide
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Justin, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say the enrolled version changed from the presented House Bill 2, and I think we had been working off the House Bill language some, so we do need to dive into it a little bit more. The enrolled version ended up dropping out. It references specifically, like Commissioner Smith just said, the sheriff's office, constable's offices, and then in the 418.332 section, it only lists the county. It doesn't list the sheriff's office like the House bill had originally presented. So I do think we probably don't have to have just the one for the county, like where we were thinking it may need to be the county judge at some point. To the sheriff's office, back to Commissioner Perry's point, that one should cover it, but we'll dig into more of that language, Commissioner Smith, and circle back.
So that's a deferred item for right now.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
So I think that takes care of the longer list here. I think we have a decision. Can you check me, Haley? I think we have a decision on all of them. And then we have one pending. Great. So I'm going to move on to this much shorter list.
What was that longer list that just went off? Have we gone over that already?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness, okay.
That's the
yeah,
one
we
that
finished that.
covered,
Okay, okay.
We're making progress.
We are.
yeah, we covered adds to staff, salary adjustments, and reclassification. So now we're moving on to these other pay type requests.
And we're just gonna talk about the ones with the Y on them.
Yes, we can.
Pull the ends off of it.
Okay. Do you mean like the Ys under HR, right?
Yeah.
What was the court, has the court made a decision
On the nose.
on, or are these, have we not made a decision on these?
So there are three that the court has made a decision on.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's JP Precinct 2, the part-time pay item, that's been removed, as well as the Constable Precinct 1 part-time item, and Constable Precinct 5 part-time item. Just April, kind of in between, following or when we were in recess, just wanted to remind the court that this request also came with a decrease in another budget line item, I believe, posted to try to help offset that, and that the request was to add more hours for a clerk to help support the implementation of Tyler. I just want to be sure that she hears that I did say that. If the court wanted to deliberate that any further or leave that alone.
So there was a decrease in a line item to allow what now? Say it again. You did such a good job.
So they're, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, they accommodated their part-time increase by decreasing another operating line, not a
Yeah.
personnel line, but another operating.
Yes.
Okay.
And I did remind April that the court has tried to steer away from kind of bartering those budget line items.
Yeah, and one's operating and one's personnel, so that makes them a little different too, so. Oh, go ahead, Commissioner
Well, I
Smith.
was gonna say, the problem I see is next year, if that line item goes back up
Yeah,
to make up for it, but that part-time pay is gonna be forever. That's, you're talking, when you start talking salaries, you're talking, not this year, it's gonna be every year that salary's gonna be there. And the part, that cut from that budget line item may have been a one-timer. So I think I agree with the
I'm
judge,
just
it's hard.
looking at their-
You're talking about two different things here, operating and personnel. That's the reason I think if you're gonna add personnel, you need to find a place in personnel to cut. That's my opinion.
Okay. And then the other, I had just filtered off HR no's. I'll just run through them just to be sure that that the court is now comfortable with putting no's on those on the court decision side.
I was the only one that spoke there, and I think maybe the judge, I didn't hear it. I don't know if there was a consensus or not on one way or the other there, okay?
Okay. And that's what, I can touch on them, and that would to ensure that before I filter them out.
okay.
And so
Not
the,
that many of them.
the first two are maintenance of buildings, they're special pays requests, so overtime pay, to replace comp time for their staff, and then on-call pay.
And I think we discussed that being a no.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have an increase for the DA's office in their part-time line item. It's an hourly attorney that is supposed to support intake. So this was actually a part of the mid-year request. They asked for this mid-year to help with intake. And so this is just a continuation of that, to keep that additional hourly attorney on staff. This is the budget that it would require.
It's already in this year's budget that we're operating under right now?
In this current one, yes, you approved it for this fiscal year 2026, and so this is just the continuation of that into FY '27.
$24,000 increase.
Yes. And I believe I had forecasted that in that memo presented on the regular agenda, that this is how much it'll cost this year, and then to continue it into the next year would be this amount.
That was mid-year when we did that, right?
Yes, sir.
So I thought,
Have we seen any results from it?
I have not assessed any results from that.
I think when we get those in court requests like that, they need to show us at the end of the time how that's helped. If we're going to continue it, to be honest with you. Has there been a reduction in cases what was the purpose of it to start with?
Supposed to help support intake and
Intake?
Yes, being able to assess cases faster to know if it's going to be prosecuted, and if so, what division it's going to be prosecuted under.
So I guess if you check and see if it's, what kind of results they've been getting out of it,
Okay.
get some feedback before make a hard decision on it, but is that all right with everybody?
It'd be nice to know if it's actually
Yeah,
being effective.
yeah.
Pretty sure I know.
The next item is certificate pay from IT.
No, we decided we weren't going to do certificate pay.
Everyone good with that?
Because we've got across the county that's.
Yeah. That
Agrees.
was a consensus on that.
Great. And then the next two, they're in here just because they are increases. It's for the FTO pay program and the night shift differential, just to display the increases there to the court. But these are just, this is what it's going to cost. It's a projection of what this will cost to maintain in the next fiscal year.
what we've already approved.
What we've already approved. Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
And we also decided, or talked about with that number, we want to make sure it's people that keep people from being able to abuse that. Was there a way to keep that from happening or not? Or is it just,
There was a response on that, but I can't
I think
remember.
Major Off said if you're not FTO and you're not getting paid.
yeah, there was something like that. Yeah, exactly. Not just a one-time or something
Right.
like
It's not
that.
like it's not soft pay where you just get it every month. Is that right, Major Ock?
That is correct. So that's basically they're with the employee as long as they're engaging in the training. There's going to be way more people who are on the FTO dole than are actually getting paid for it, because they're only getting paid for it when they're actually training people. So if we have 60 people, because this was said in a prior court session, those 60 people aren't getting some salary stipend. They're only receiving the hourly rate when they are actively training someone with the new FTO software.
That makes sense. Okay.
So theoretically, if you're not FTO and everybody, you might have money left over in this, right? Theoretically? No.
I will say typically not, sir, but that is all based on like the number of hours, the new software, the new
Okay.
FTO program, how it's changed from the manual system to the digital system. We went to a much updated system, much needed overall. So the number of hours that we're training these initial law enforcement deputies is definitely greater.
And also, David, influenced by the number of new hires.
Every time, sir. Yes,
The
sir.
more new hires you have, the more FTOs you're going to have.
Correct. JTOs and FTOs. Yes, sir.
Correct. Okay.
Yes, they have to report the hours of training on a timesheet. That's how this pay is being determined, but there was a change in the original estimated amount of hours on average per trainer. So the original estimate is 160 hours per trainer, but that's now averaging closer to, I believe, 400 hours. And so that's where this increase is coming from. So the original amount of hours projected per trainer is higher. And I don't know if you had, because I'd asked that question of David, and I don't know if you had received a response yet, David, on what was causing that.
So 160 hours is the bare minimum training that TCOL requires for the program, the bare minimum. That has nothing to do with how you operate, the geography of your county, how your radios operate, how to conduct a traffic stop, your policies and procedures. That is the bare minimum that our old system used to be just to pass a TCOL standard. It does not produce a good trainee, and the new system is definitely more inclusive of geography, departmental procedures, use of force, all the things that we prior did not have in our FTO.
But you went from 160 to 400, David?
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner, I was having IT problems. So we reported what we had at the time because we told the court when we asked for this that we were transitioning from a paper-driven system to an updated system. So 160 hours was the minimum or the maximum reportable amount to TCOL for FTO. And we told the court at that time, we're not exactly sure what those number of hours are going to look like going forward.
So
Remember that?
We know that now.
So back to the question. 400 is the number that you're using as the estimate?
I think it's slightly higher than that. It's slightly higher.
How much increase in the budget does that going from 160 to 400 create?
I think she has there around $30,000, $32,000.
Total?
So the total annual sum estimated at the inception of the program was 15,787 hours, but the current actuals year-to-date are running at 27,197 hours.
And what does that translate dollar-wise?
It's that dollar figure that we're projecting for the increase to fiscal year 25, so
The 32?
$32,412 more.
Yeah. I can probably, I know that the training's got to take place. And I can probably live with that as long as we don't, as long as I'm not saying a hard cap, but a soft cap or something, so it just doesn't keep, we end up with being 50,000, 60,000, because that's just what happened. We need
Yeah, you're saying.
we need some kind of guarantee it's going to stay at a certain number.
Well, we're asking to try to manage that number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, manage that number, yeah, so it doesn't go over.
So that's a yes for you?
Yeah,
Yes.
I understand the training's got to take place.
And then the same for night shift differential, I mean, percentage-wise off of the whole program, I think it was just an 8% increase. So this is the increased projection for fiscal year '27. Is the court okay with this?
And why is there an increase in night differential? Simply because salaries have gone up? Or
No, it would be the number of hours on night shift reported higher.
how do you report additional hours on night shift? If
Maybe more units out at night?
you talk about in the jail, this is
The
jail.
jail.
This is strictly jail differential.
Yes.
Okay.
So how does it,
David, do you have
I
it?
mean,
Yeah,
we
but-
added 10,
Yeah.
we added 10 positions.
David, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's going to have to do with us just being more staffed, having people stay on night shift, the night shift being more staffed than the night shift has generally been in the past. So the program is working as intended, at least.
Yeah. So they've had a higher head count this year and close to fully staffed for a good chunk of the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can't take it back, you know?
well, not yet.
Okay?
Yes.
So that leaves just these two remaining blanks, which are related to uniform allowance. There's a request from Constable Precinct 2 and Constable Precinct 5 to increase the allowance from 720 to 2,100 for Precinct 2, and for Precinct 5, that's an increase of $300, so 2,400 to 2,700.
Are all of the precincts across, all of them have a uniform allowance?
They have some form of uniform allowance, right?
So is the uniform allowance uniform?
No,
They wear different uniforms?
Why not?
That's just up to the elected officials.
But I'm sure Constable too is because we have a new constable. That's probably where his extra's coming from.
Well, but if you had a uniform allowance across the board, then if you add one, that should be that amount. So there's a whole world, there's
You
evidently a
subtracted
world of
somebody.
difference in uniform allowances.
and I have to say that's consistent across other counties too. It was difficult to find a consistent uniform allowance policy or even a good survey of what a typical uniform allowance is. I got a range of if it includes weather protection, clothing, and boots. Inclusive of that, it could range from $800 to $1,000 per employee, is what I found.
So of the 5 precincts we have right now, can you read us out the uniform allowance per precinct right now? Somebody?
Yes.
I
if
just
Frank-
pulled it up. So Constable Precinct 2 is $240 per year per employee.
Per employee?
Constable 3, $120 per year.
Per employee.
And then Constable 5 is $800.
They looking good.
They are looking.
$800 per employee?
Yes.
Has it been consistent like that each year?
Yes, I don't think, a lot of these haven't changed.
Constable 5 changed in the last few years. They came in and they had a packet of the detail of their uniform.
I think that was last year.
I think it was last year. And then that was supported at that time.
I'd sure like to see us go to a uniform amount across the
I would
board.
too.
It'd make it a lot fairer
Per person.
per person, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So how do you,
What's the least amount on there?
120, so $10 a month.
and that might be a little low.
That's a little low.
Let's assume it's low. What's the
But you got,
The highest?
800
hundred and something?
So,
for how many employees?
Big,
Three.
Eagles and,
3?
Yes, sir.
3 in that. All right, and there was a 240, wasn't there?
Yes, a 240, a 120, and an 800.
Talking
So
about-
lowest is 120, highest is 800.
why don't we do, is the precinct 3, I think, they buy their own, so. Is 300 okay?
well, that's kind of the average, yeah, a year.
I'd like to make that across the board just the same, yeah, whatever it is.
And I guess if you outgrow, like we hire someone that's still growing, then we have to get, I guess they have to get new uniforms.
well, with the shots, they could be shrinking.
Yeah. Well, let's buy the shot.
Okay.
Hey,
We
those
still
shots,
gotta buy smaller uniforms.
those shots are hurting our,
So if we go with an average, then I think that would mean Constable Precinct 5 is a no, because they're already above that average.
That's
Is that okay?
$300 per employee,
And Constable 5 is already at 800
per employee.
per employee. And so if you wanted to set that average as a practice, that would be a no for their current uniform allowance request.
What is 120, 240, and 800 added together divided by 3?
The average, let me see.
800, 900, 1140 divided by 3.
387.
Huh?
387.
Okay, 387.
That's the average of all 3 of them together.
Well, let's try and start there.
How much?
What's
Three-
the average for
387, that was,
387 was the average of the
per
one
whole.
that's 120 something gets them in one road.
But I would say that means theirs is a yes.
I would say you want to just,
350 or 400?
Their
well, the cost of
request-
everything,
I mean, yeah.
the cost of everything,
Go for
I'd say
five.
400. Because I know how to buy,
Yeah.
you buy police gear, and it's outrageous, you know that, but $300,
I'll ask.
$400 a year, not a lot of money for duty belts and boots and.
Like, I think tactical bands are charging 150.
So if the average is what we want to use as a benchmark, the 387, Constable 5 is currently above that at 800 per employee. Does the court want to leave it as it currently exists, or does the court want to decrease that budget?
I thought that was the idea.
I thought we were going with a uniform across
I
the,
don't have a problem with 400.
Okay,
I don't have a problem with
400.
400 across the board.
Everybody has to go to 400 per
400?
person.
per person, per year, right?
Yeah. Commissioner, will that
Does
cover,
that-
will 400 cover?
Not really, but, it depends if of course, if they tear something, if they're, chasing somebody or jumping a fence or whatever, or dog bite, but, the duty belt's gonna last for years.
It lasts
Just
forever.
Nylon, most of them are wearing nylon now. But as far as, do they have anything about body armor or anything like that? And that's not considered uniform, is it?
That's not uniform.
I'm not sure
That
if
should
any
be
of them would
cap-
count
that
for
should be
that.
cap-
Protective clothing.
Protective clothing. Okay.
I think we're talking about strictly pants and shirt right here.
Yeah, and a,
Cat hat, maybe, boots, I don't know.
Do you take the patches off of, let's say, a torn shirt, you take those
Sure
off,
you
put
can.
them on another one?
Sure you can. Yeah.
Like bulletproof vests, things like that.
Absolutely.
well, unless they're,
Boy Scout.
Yeah,
Well,
we always push those
a
through.
lot of them still are
We always
stitched, but some of them are getting pressed on like a,
Yeah, I know what you're talking
or if they're stitched. So,
Did that bring up any other?
iron on, but they might not, you can, but
Okay.
I
So-
think that's a reasonable way to
So on this
start.
topic, I think this is a great thing to make the uniform allowance uniform across the board. I just wanted to point out, 1 and 4 currently do not get that allowance. So any of the uniforms that precinct 1 wears, that's purchased through county funds. 4, I think maybe they're just maybe buying theirs themselves. But it's just, that's been the way, all different, each office has been different for many, many
We
years.
biting off something that we
So
shouldn't.
I would think if Constable 1 is purchasing those items through the county budget, then the allowance isn't something that is needed for that precinct, but then they're
these three?
different,
We're
so
talking about these three
we may
precincts.
take a deep dive and see just what's being bought and out of county funds for,
Yeah. So in other words,
each different.
Constable Precinct 1 may be buying it out of another part of the budget, not, it doesn't say uniform,
like
it's just
supplies or.
supplies and that kind of stuff, so,
Same
yeah,
thing with 4, I guess.
yeah.
But they might be happy to get that. I think we focus on these 3 right here, and worry about
Yes.
the others later,
Okay,
comes up.
Okay,
Okay, so
400.
I'm leaving the Constable Precinct 5 just as a no because sounds like it's going to get a decrease. And then Precinct 2, I'm leaving blank because I think they're not at that $400 per employee yet. So we're just leaving that blank, and that way the auditor's office can come back with what that total looks like across the eligible precincts. But that takes care of the other salary requests. And so these line by lines, we're done with them unless y'all feel like I missed something. Okay. So I had already kind of hollered out the update for the COLA. That's my only other item to address is my last update was 3.72. We have the final release for June CPI, and so that brought that number to 3.71. So it decreased by 100th of a
You know,
decimal.
if you missed anything, we'll be here tomorrow. Is that right?
Could be.
I think we are.
If we spend this much time on uniforms, I can see it.
They can't say you're not thorough. Unless the court had any other questions for me.
I don't believe, I think there's a few things you may get back to us on.
Yes, I have a note for part-time pay for the hourly attorney, just to see what they're seeing as a result of the
Yeah.
mid-year request. And then I believe I have a
They'll be positive.
to-do also on the longer list. It was just one, I think, takeaway
Yeah,
item
okay.
to bring back to the court.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Appreciate it.
Got updated numbers?
We'll get them second.
Side entities, I think it's,
Yep, that's next.
Can we have a break?
yeah, let's take a 5-minute break. let's call court back in session.
It doesn't matter to me.
Mr. Perry, you still there?
You know,
Who's there?
spaceship went out of orbit,
Yeah,
got out of range.
okay, Francis?
Okay, I know we heard from all of the outside entities, so we
Judge?
need to,
Yes,
I'm
Right.
still here.
okay.
so now we've, pulled them, it kind of grouped them by type. So I want to look at them in total, and then that way we can decide how we want to move forward for next year's budget. And again, just coming forward, what I'm trying to say is, of course, you can make changes to these, of course,
Sure.
over the next couple of months as well, but just get what your thoughts are on them. So Haley has pulled up here a list, and we have these broken up. You could break these up a million different ways, but just kind of in type. So the first section are what we just titled contracted programs, but you got like the Advocacy Center, ABC, Waco Family Medicine. So up there, we'll show you FY '26. So that is currently what we have in the budget for that entity. FY '27, what their request was, and then whether that was an increase or decrease. These are all increases. So of course, the majority of these were entities that we had already contracted with the exception of a few at the bottom of the list. And so those would be the Salvation Army, Riverfront Entertainment,
Which one is that?
that was the, like the Juneteenth celebration.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was, hadn't been here before.
yeah, yeah.
So just what was presented to you.
It was just
The Syntex Reentry Roundtable, and then the Bridge to Success. And a lot of those don't have specific amounts, but just letting you know what was brought to you this year. So I guess, kind of to take it in layers.
Yeah.
The ones that we have contracted with before, do you want to entertain any of the increases? Or do we want to keep them at last year's levels, or we can take some out, or we could decrease them like a flat percentage across the board if needed?
Okay, what's, so on new request, besides that entertainment deal, has there been any other new ones?
It was, those four were the ones that
Well-
were brought to you.
The Bridge to Success was tremendously helpful, what y'all did, but y'all moved some money around. Remember last year, that 5,000?
Yeah.
It was tremendously a success. I would like to keep that 5,000 there for Bridge to Success, but it's, we don't have it on the board.
So that's not a new one,
Did you just move money from somewhere else
Yeah,
last
we
year?
accommodated the
Oh, I
request
got
in
you.
FY
I see what you're
'25.
saying.
It's not a new
Last
one.
summer.
It bothers me somewhat that we were very explicit last year. We said, make sure they understand this is a one-time offer.
Well, you could ask every one of those people,
No, we said that on this one because it was different. We asked
I disagree.
specifically.
I disagree with that. Yeah.
Ben, do you remember?
I don't exactly remember, but my opinion would be to deny any of the new ones. Guys, we really need to talk about cutting the ones we have, much less bringing new ones in. That does not help us.
Sure.
I didn't understand him.
So,
Cutting, he said, I felt like he said that we need to, no new ones, and maybe even cut some of the ones that we have.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
so I guess
Thank you,
just,
Will.
I guess just to start, just to, kind of tick through the choices, the ones that, and we might come back and change their request, but any increases, is there like a flat answer on that? Like, do we want to go through those, or do we want to say just no increases at all?
Are there any of these increases that are like contractually, like on the contracted programs?
There's not any, but Waco Family Medicine.
I
is the
thought
one.
Waco Family Medicine had some sort of escalator in the contract.
So,
They did 3%.
but that, and then, so that is that 3% there.
Yeah.
And so, of course, something you could amend, but that's the one that is treated a little bit differently.
I mean, start at the top. Let's just go
Okay?
down.
So Advocacy Center, they asked for a $5,000 increase.
You said 1,500 can be funded from 162?
Yes, it's still, I mean, it's just special revenue funds, but their total request is $5,000.
Increase from 15 to
Of that
20,000.
amount, 1,500 can be
Yes.
funded from, or ever what the total is can be funded from 162.
Okay. Animal birth control?
So do we want to up or down it, or do we just
Okay.
want to look at it?
So what's opinion on that? It's got an increase, part of that increase, it's 5,000, with part of that increase being offset for coming from another deal at 1,500, but the bottom line is it's still,
Can you just say 16.5 then, if it can come from that 162?
well.
How much has
that's
been
still-
coming from
So
162?
162 is a special revenue fund that, one of those that went away a few years ago. We've been just trying to eat it up as all the little pieces that were in there. So this would clean it out fully.
Last year it was about 12,000 that came from Fund 162, I believe.
Say it
I
again.
can pull it.
Oh, wow.
Here, I'll do it on my screen since.
So all of it almost came from last year.
So that would be
I
one.
know they do, this is an organization that affects people.
It was higher. It was 12,000 a year before.
I mean, my opinion would be on all these to keep them the same as last year, except for Waco Family Medicine. That's a, how long has that contract been in? Since you were here or before?
Oh, that's general fund.
Yeah, we were,
Yeah.
Sorry. when Dr. Gertz was running the program.
So, but that's just,
Justin, do you remember when we started that Waco Family Medicine?
They get, it predates you, Judge, and it's been in existence as long as I've been here too.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
as well as, I guess the other ones are, well, we can get to them in a minute, but City of Waco contracts.
So
So
Commissioner says, cut everything back to where they were,
26.
with the exception of Waco Family Medicine.
On that first, the contracted program.
That first number's up there?
Yeah. 20.
And going back to that advocacy center, just to answer your question, so in the past, we did have that child abuse prevention fund, no longer, but we've always been able to charge that full amount, except last year we only charged a little over 12,000, and then now we're down to this 1,500.
Oh,
So-
okay,
So
okay.
it's kind of
we've
transitioned over to
drawn it
general
down.
fund if you choose to continue it.
So we would fund, if we keep it at 20, we'll fund 18.5, and the rest of it will come from 162?
We'll fund 13.5.
Oh, 13.5.
I'm sorry, yeah, out of general fund. If you approve 15,000.
I'm good with what everybody wants to do. Either keep it the same or, those are advocacy, I know what they do. They do a good job.
And then the new ones that were on that list,
Okay, so you're keeping everything else the same,
yes, so-
except for Waco Family Medicine?
correct.
You're keeping everything at the current funding
So
level?
the Salvation Army was a newer one that had like an actual very firm number requested. And so I think that's just something that we have to
So
see what,
Dustin, you and I talked about some thoughts on Salvation Army. Any other alternatives out there?
Judge, not really at this time. No, I think it would, it would have to be a general fund expense.
Okay, all right.
You know, last year we said no to the Creekside, and they essentially pretty much do the same thing. A lot of the same services.
So are you saying, what are you saying?
I'm saying no on Salvation Army this year.
Any, so Salvation Army's mentioned, so any other thoughts?
That's a big chunk,
Yeah.
big chunk.
Mr. Perry, you have thoughts on Salvation Army?
Yeah, Judge, the only The only thing I would say is if we agreed to do that at some level, is that we stretch it out over a 2 or 3 year.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll kind of put a pin in that if we want to come back and
Yeah,
look at different
Right.
options there.
okay. And then,
The riverfront that was not a good presentation, and they didn't show anything what they needed to do.
yeah,
So I think that's a no.
yeah,
The round table, I think we have those.
You know, there's plenty of evidence that,
Yeah.
there's plenty of evidence that
However you want to.
we're already doing enough on that front.
But like again, on the Bridge of Success, I understand where Commissioner Smith's coming from, but we fed over 500, almost 500 families this year. And I know it's new or from new last year. I don't remember saying, I just said I remember we did talk about to Pastor C that it could be a one-time deal and don't expect it, but he didn't, I mean, he just brought it up, when he was in here with him. So I'm not going to be mad at him for bringing that up.
no, not
It
bad.
served a great purpose for all folks, not just in East Waco. It was people from Lorena, Hewitt, Robinson, Belmead were there picking up these great meals.
Go back up on. So Waco Family Medicine, even going to object to the relationship with that, what is it, 3%?
Absolutely not.
So,
Absolutely not.
I'm
They've
good.
really turned
I'm
their-
good, Judge.
I'm good with, yeah.
I'm just gonna, they've turned their ship around too, in
yeah,
my opinion.
well, they're doing a lot of
They
good stuff.
tightened their belt pretty good last
Yeah,
year.
they did.
And them going out in the field and
They
doing
have
what
a
they're doing.
professional, somebody who's a professional doing their financials now and things like that, so. Work for the
Yeah,
clerk.
Judge, I'm fine with that request, absolutely.
Okay. See, only ones that, we covered all the ones that increased. So y'all okay with the libraries, community, libraries, West Moody, Hewitt,
Yeah, there's 5 of those, 10,000 each.
and, the whole library discussion.
That contract has been in effect since the 70s, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah.
70s. That needs to be looked at closely.
I thought we got a new, I thought that was.
Did we do a new one?
Was renegotiated.
You talking about with these?
No,
There's no contract.
Yeah, Dustin, give us a historical.
on the city of Waco, we are still under that 1978 contract where we had opted in at that 1/6, that level 1 service, which is 16 2/3%. And then the past 3 or 4 years, we have done just an addendum to it that laid out that year's funding. But we are still technically under that 1978 agreement.
Here's the part that bothers me somewhat. When we made that agreement in the 70s, I don't know how many branches there were. I know we didn't have all those branches in Hewitt. Now, maybe West was still there, but there were some others that operated pretty much on their own or very little. And we've added those to our plate. I don't know did we ever have the opportunity to agree when Waco went to all of their satellite branches? Was that just, or did that just gets added on and they said, here it is, you're gonna fund 1/6 of it? I wasn't here.
Well, according to what Dustin just said, that we would take and do an addendum to the existing contract. So we made that decision on a year-by-year basis. They didn't just necessarily send us a bill, but
And there was a Waco McLennan County Library Commission, and there were appointees from the county. And I believe that still exists as well.
yeah.
that shows that we agreed to the, I sure don't mind funding the main campus. I really don't, but as far as, whether 65,000 total citizens in unincorporated areas in McLennan County, about 65,000, which that main campus, that main building, I think with digital age and everything else, and the ability to go to some of these other little outlying libraries, especially Hewitt, seems like that would suffice. And I support limiting that funding somehow.
Those are, I know the city of Mar, go ahead.
Ben, go ahead.
If I'm not mistaken, the current circulation of the library, the current usage of it is only 65,000. So basically, the rural population of the county is all that is, the consumers of the library are the same number. And for us to pay 1.2 million, me, that's just a really poor decision on our part to agree to pay that much. Because we're not getting, the rural residents are not getting that big a use out of it.
But then we're still giving the 10,000s to the rural areas too.
Right?
To
And
me,
then you've got
that one
Hewitt,
point- yeah.
next on our list. And then Hewitt doesn't pay anything to the Waco Library, but yet we pay Hewitt.
Yeah, that's where we
and
need
the
to
way-
have, we need to have a discussion with them on that.
We need some sort of credit
Well,
for what we pay them.
We give, on the foundation I'm in Mart, we give a lot of money to the Mart Library.
At the Mart Library.
Yes, lots of money. And I love the library system, but I never see anybody in that library, so. But it's a museum too, theoretically, for us.
Well, I think everybody wants to stay involved. Maybe we need to try to figure out how to get all these entities together, like Hewitt and all the, maybe they asking those entities to start participating and cutting that part of it out of our liability.
I'd almost,
And definitely, Judge, we need to really seriously look at that contract. That's silly on both of our parts to be operating on a 50-year-old contract. Makes no sense.
I agree.
I'd almost support cutting a couple $100,000 out, $200,000-300,000 out of what we pay them, if we could get by with it. But I'm open to what y'all want to do. Is you want to go back to the current level that we spent this last year, and just leave it at that. Say here it is, take it or leave it, or whatever
Yeah,
the
okay.
court wants to do, Judge.
Well, do y'all want us to go back and talk and to see if we can negotiate something along those lines? I'd want to, it's a long lasting, we have a very deep relationship with the city of Waco and.
Sure.
And not only in this, but in a lot of different other areas. And so however we handle it, we need to, be very,
They're good people. They're
Yeah.
good people over there. They're good people. We've got to be fair to our taxpayers though, too, so.
Yeah.
As they do to theirs.
yeah.
It's like, to me, that seems like out of that almost the 1.1 million last year, they should give the 10,000s to these small libraries, not us.
Yeah, well, I think the county is the one, I may be mistaken, but I think that started at the county level too, those
We
communities,
did
not
that
from
out
the
of
city.
out of our,
Yeah.
Kindness of our hearts.
I
When
know.
did that start?
Oh, well, way back when Jim Lewis
it was
became judge.
5,000 forever.
Yes.
And I think it was the Jim Lewis days, and they said, well, let's help this library. And it was small dollars back then, Okay, well, if it's okay, then
for starters, we want to put the amount that's in there right now?
Yeah,
And then y'all see how you negotiate?
yeah, just do that. But we'll come back next week, early Tuesday or.
And what are they, what, you know, what kind of cuts are they doing at the city to the library,
They cut some hours and.
hours and
Yeah,
things like that?
Yeah.
they cut some out.
Did they close some of the branches?
I'm not sure about that. I don't think so. I think, Dustin, you may recall, I know you and Commissioner Perry met with them. I was not available.
Right, and I know this morning they mentioned they cut hours. They had recommended more hours to be cut, and council had agreed on a smaller amount. I think they're taking a proposal back this year, maybe to cut additional hours.
Yes.
But I don't believe any branches had been closed.
Okay. All right. Well, so the way it stands right now, nothing more than what it was last year, and then sit down with them. And Ben, will you be here next week?
Yes, sir. I'll be in, I'm gonna be in conference, but I'll be back in, I can make it back Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Y'all will be gone next year.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going
Our
next
meeting
next
is
week.
scheduled.
Yeah.
The week after, we have that whole week.
Yeah, we have the whole week. Well, up to that, we got to vote that Friday or Thursday? Okay.
You have until Friday.
So we're in the middle right now, under contracted services?
So we were still, like, in that upper section.
Oh, we're
If
still
there's
in the upper
anything else you wanted to talk about, I wasn't sure if you were still hovering over those
Those
satellite libraries, whatever you want to call them.
I think
we're good with that.
yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're gonna leave that. And then, I guess we'll zero out Salvation Army for the moment. Sorry, that's messing up the. Okay, so we just had the increase to family, you know what I'm trying to say.
Waco Family
Waco
Medicine.
Family Medicine, thank you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that next section, is City of Waco or.
Well, wait a minute,
under that.
can we go back to Bridge to Success?
Sure.
If that's, is that a possibility? Will, how you feel about that?
Well, I supported it last, I don't remember exactly how it went, but I did support it last time. I would,
You know, if you feel like you want to, you know, maybe we
yeah,
could $3,000 this time or something.
yeah, well, I just, I mean,
There's not hundreds more piled up wanting anything from us. Well, that was a theory that could have happened, that there's gonna be 30 groups lined up in front of us. There's not. He's the one that came back, and asked about it.
so is he asking again?
Well, he's asking, yeah.
You weren't here that day, but.
He came and presented.
Yeah, he was here the
Okay.
other day.
I
Yeah, you
would,
were gone.
I would support Bridge to Success, so.
No, I do.
Well, the reason why there wasn't a whole bunch in line is because we pretty much put the word out.
I
in
know,
Summer City,
I
Waco,
know.
that we're not
Yeah.
looking at it anymore.
Sure.
Evidently, he didn't get the message, but, it's only $5,000, but we did say that, I understand it's a one-time deal.
I guess, and if that's, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Ben, you have thought?
Whatever we said last year.
Are you talking?
You hear me now?
Yes.
Answer.
Judge, I would decrease it a little, I'd cut it to 2,500. Just my opinion.
What do you say?
2,500.
I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. We got a consensus to go to 2,500. Okay.
Okay. So these that kind of fall under City of Waco or under the City of Waco umbrella. And so some significant increases here, especially when you look at them in total. But just starting with Animal Shelter Services, of course, they were here and spoke on that change, but it is a $144,000 increase from the prior year request.
And I think Ben spoke on that. We're paying a lot per dog or animal or
We've got to-
horse or
yeah,
goat.
That's, Ben and I met with them on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's another one of those contracted services that has a formula built into it. And we're stuck with it right now, but we've got to, they've assured us that they put some programs in place, put some things in place that won't stay that amount, but that's what it is right now.
And
That we
I
can
think
get it.
we're
Well,
in
and
discussion with,
we have,
so,
Go ahead, Ben.
what we need to do is, what the city did is after hours, they don't respond to animal calls. But they're still responding to ours. So what we've got to do is get with our sheriff's department, make sure that unless it's an injured animal or vicious, you don't call them after business hours. That needs to wait till the next day.
That's right. We were calling them out and they were going out at night and we're getting charged for it, overtime and extra time.
Yeah.
Right. And so we truly control this on our own way. The other thing, we could also adjust the surrender fee and send it up a little bit. And the key thing is, and I think I've shared this with all of y'all, once an animal enters the shelter, it only has a 10% chance of going back home.
Right.
So honestly, that animal needs to be left alone a little bit longer to give it the opportunity to get back to its owner, unless it's vicious or injured. Because we're creating a problem, trying to solve a problem. And I think we should cut that back. They only charge us for what they get brought in. And I think we need to share with our sheriff's department that we need to no more after hours calls. And then we need to go up on the surrender fee to $75 or $100 and see if we can kind of suppress a little bit of the influx of the animals coming from the county for a little bit longer.
Is it 50?
And then we only pay for what we get billed for that month.
I think what we also discussed is that we have to be careful with that surrender fee, a happy medium, because if it ends up too high, they'll just be dumped and we'll still have to pick them up.
they'll be dumped in the county.
And then we get nothing.
Always dumped in the county. I guarantee you, every stray dog, almost, in
It's
the
from a
county,
city. It's from a
came out of the
city.
city. And they didn't want it, or the vet fees are too high, or those kind of things, and they dumped it.
Yeah, so I certainly agree with Ben as far as adjusting the surrender fee. That's something that we think will benefit us, but not come back and bite us, because
So
it's
to
too
speak,
high.
so to speak.
So to speak, yeah.
So to speak.
Claw us, bite us, whatever.
But here's one thing I'd like to finish with is I think we could cut that budget a little bit and we'll know on month to month if we're making a difference with approaching it the new way. We'll know whether we're making a difference.
Yeah.
And we
but
may end
we're-
up saving money.
We're not contracted
What's
to pay
the-
We're
that?
not contracted
So
to
that's
that
a-
amount?
So they
No,
calculate.
we get the,
So that's
go ahead, Francis.
Oh,
that's a
sorry,
calculated
Commissioner.
amount?
Yes, they look at the statistics through, I think she said the month of April each year. Then they divide it out between all the entities that use their services. And then they look at their budget and they divide it, they prorate it, divided based on that. And so that's where that 340,000 comes in.
And-
they bill us equally over 12 months, just like the 196 currently, we get a bill each month from them for
And
that month's portion of that,
part of it,
no matter how much we use
a
them.
portion of it, I don't remember, Ben, what it was, went up because Bell Mead pulled out.
So that
Using
pro
it.
rata share
Correct.
just.
So that amount of operating costs then was absorbed somewhat by the other entities that participate.
But we're only going to be charged for animals that we call and request to be picked up. And so that's why I'm saying if we change the way we approach it a little bit, I don't think we'll need that much money.
So what are you thinking, taking out? They asking for 144,000 more.
I think we've got to leave it in here now, but I think we can make it
You can
better.
add it later. but you can always catch up. If we're right and we suspend the number of animals or we decrease the number of animals, we can cut that budget now. If we find out again that it's just going overboard, and we can always put additional dollars back in. I guess
So-
is the way I'm looking at it.
So what are you saying, Ben? Leave it at what it currently is and then see what happens?
No, I still would increase it a tad bit, but I wouldn't go to the 396.
Or 340, yeah.
It's at 340, 709.
That's what they want.
That's what they want.
So far in,
That's what they think.
That's just a thinking number, though. That's not actually
So are they
something.
gonna change like our contracts so that the way they're billed will be different? It'll just be based per animal? Cause right
And I
now
know
that's
we're-
not,
That's what they,
it is based per animal pro rata, but for the prior year.
It's a
so-
prior year count.
Yes.
Dustin, give some clarification, please.
That's what I was gonna say. It is that prior year computation, and we will be bringing back a new interlocal soon, updated probably during August for the court's consideration. So, but I think to Francis's point, I'm looking at that computation section, and it is based off the previous 12 months. And then Major Ives has been messaging me as well. I think the sheriff's office would like to comment, if that's okay, Judge.
Yeah, please.
So this is David. I've got Captain Davenport with me, and I'm going to let him. He's way more spun up on the animal control stuff. So I definitely want him to at least give y'all some insight so you can have the most informed decision possible, at least.
Thank you.
Just for the most part, these dogs that are picked up, we're not just out picking up strays. It's either a dangerous dog. We've been called that they're vicious, and/or it's a dog bite call. And if they cannot provide rabies vaccination paperwork, then we're statutorily required to get that dog quarantined. And that's where the vast majority of these pickups are happening. We are certainly not just out picking up stray dogs because someone called in and said, hey, they're walking down the street. So
Right,
the majority of those, there is a reason that we're having to call them after hours.
okay.
Tim,
Yes, sir.
when we have our next conversation with them, we'd love for y'all to be a part of it, okay?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for SO on that?
Well, I'm new at this, of course, but I know y'all have probably in the past looked at having our own.
no.
I'm just asking.
Yes, we have.
I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah.
In my-
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's a salary and
Put it at your house.
if it's a salary and a truck to pick them up, and then we
It's-
had a contract
Right.
with animal shelters.
But it's the motion and all that stuff, the way people
These
view
people,
animals nowadays compared to what you and I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I can tell you how the deputies handled it years ago.
just like the ranchers.
They loved them. They loved these dogs.
Yeah.
A lot of them took them home.
Yeah. Well, my thoughts are we'll work on the negotiation. We'll make sure we involve SO, but
Yeah.
we're obligated for this amount, so we need to leave it in there and just see how we can make it better.
Yeah,
And when we get I actually got the June bill today, and so I was looking at it, we get the bill, which is 196,470 divided by 12 equally. But they also send us a sheet with the impound statistics related to the county. And so if you want, I can start forwarding those to you, or if you want to place them on the agenda, just so you could track, like, is there change in,
That'd be good.
just, to be prepared for next year, but
Okay.
it could be interesting information to look at.
Thank you.
Okay, so animal, and then public health district, you've already, I think, approved on a few agendas ago that, that confirmation that you were gonna, of course, participate this year, and that is based on the contract or the agreement that we are currently in. And so that increase there is $78,173, which is that bump up based on our population.
Correct.
Emergency management, Ryan Durker presented that budget, and, he spoke on, not a lot of, they had washed out the increases with decreases. He did not touch on personnel. And so, of course, they're in the middle of their personnel discussions as well, just like we are adopting their budget. And so we don't have a final number as of yet. But you'll see there in 2026, we had a $408,000 budget. That was because we didn't have a final budget when we adopted last year. And that was the number we had. That will not be sufficient for this year.
So what was the,
far.
what was the
So-
budget, what was the budget last year? What was our-
408,000.
How much?
408,000.
That's
So
what
that was
we-
what we were pushed, that it,
But what was their actual budget last year?
What are they gonna bill us?
I think we had estimated closer to, oh, thank you, Haley, I could have brought that up. Sorry. And I think that's the number we stuck in, just kind of trying
Yeah,
to,
so the 528
520
is what we're projecting for
Yes.
this year.
Right, 528,
Yes.
247, but you said last year when we adopted the budget, we adopted it 408, 961.
that budget has always been very hard to get information on, and I think that communication has gotten much better. And so going forward, that should be better. But again, we just don't have their budget when we are looking at our budget yet. And so just based on what we're looking at this year, that 528, we feel we need to put that in there for this year. And then the city can keep us posted if they have any changes within the next month or so, just as we will. In that same realm, the fire protection services line. So we've had $300,000 there budgeted consistently, and that gets spread between all of the volunteer fire departments and is based on their square miles, as well as the score that they obtain on their inspection each year. We also fund a piece of that, the fire protection agency as well. This year, though, they had the $320,000 roughly ask for the new communication system that connects all of the departments together. And so I don't know if anybody had any thoughts on that request. It did sound like it would be something that would be reoccurring, that we would be having to
There'll be a
pay.
$200-something thousand
Yes.
reoccurring every year.
This was the one.
Maintenance,
This was
yeah.
the startup year,
Yeah.
and then
I guess the
would drop
question,
some next year,
the
but
question I'd have, Dustin, would be, there are fire departments, and they are volunteer fire departments, but they rest within a lot of cities. Were the cities asked to participate in this at all, or is this all being shouldered by McClellan County?
I think it's just, as far as I know, just to the county. The county fire protection is one of those permissive things that counties may provide. And so I think that's just the logical ask.
Well, yeah, I understand.
I know that question came up this past week or last week, and I had emailed Ryan to, I'm glad Dustin confirmed too, but Ryan said yes, that 320 ask was just for county funding.
They didn't ask their cities to contribute at all.
So I don't know if they asked, I was curious if that ask needed to be split or, but it was what they were asking of the county specifically.
I would be interested in those departments that lie entirely within the city limits of an incorporated area, if they would be willing to ask their
Yeah, I agree with that.
cities to share some of the cost.
Especially some of the,
So that brings up a
Some of the-
point that we've been talking about every year.
larger small
Is
cities.
where we're covering other entities just because we've been doing it, but they've got a tax. We have to, it affects our tax rate when they're taxing an entity themselves.
Yes, they are.
And I'm talking primarily cities, these non-Wake, besides Waco. And, we need to really think about how we break that out, all the different places that we support them. I'm not saying put the jail in there at all, I'm just saying all these other things that were, the library, this particular thing. So,
Well, I've often thought, Judge, about some kind of intake fee at the jail when the city brings somebody in. There's an intake fee for processing them, even though it's I don't know, something to help offset the cost and
So,
We sure shoulder a lot of that.
so our post-budget approval, gathering that we have on our, just a think tank deal retreat, if you want to call it, that's something that we'll definitely need to put on the budget. I mean, on the, sometime in this fall.
You know,
I
look,
don't know that, are we necessarily obligated to pay that $320,000 for
no,
this?
we were just asked.
We just asked.
We were just
right.
asked.
Yeah,
But it's a extremely worthy program,
Yes.
yeah, it's a life safety
a
issue.
life-saving type
agree.
program. And I support the program entirely, but I just wonder why we're the only ones paying for it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So other than that, the pill hard to swallow, are we saying we have a consensus to leave it like it is?
I guess, right now.
I don't know anything.
I think it's something that's
Just like-
sorely needed, Judge. But I would love to
I
see.
agree with that.
I'd love to see some kind of effort, either a letter or something to the cities to, hey, we need some help here.
Yeah. Send us a thank you card.
No, Dustin, if it would be too late to send out I know they're in the middle of their budgets too, probably, but those departments that will benefit from this, and I think there was a list of them, those that were inside of a city limits, about sending a letter out and asking if they'd be willing to participate with us.
We'll reach out to Ryan Durker and go through the association and have those questions asked.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay, and so back to the library, I know we've already talked about it some, but that just shows that difference in their requests from one year to the next. So it's about under $125,000 difference from one year to the other.
okay.
The OSSF program, so of course that on-site sewage program, so that budget is based on what they think they'll bring in revenue, and then they net that with the expenditures for the year, and then we are obligated for the difference. And so that is their estimate for 2027 is the $165,000.
What was it last year?
$131,000. And that contract does say that, that one specifically with the city does say that the county is only liable for the amount that we put in our budget. So if for some reason their estimates were wrong on the revenue, we would still only be obligated by the amount that we place in the budget. And that has happened.
So.
In a prior
if it
year.
If it goes up, we're not obligated for the difference.
No, the city will take care of
If
it.
it goes down, we don't have to pay them,
Yeah, we just pay the lesser amount.
pay the lesser
That's,
amount.
most years, that's what's happened here. The revenues have exceeded, but over time, their expenditures have just grown.
Yeah.
So,
What was it last year? What did you say last year? Did we have?
currently, we have
Did we
130.
pay the 133,
131.
So
131?
this one's a little different. They give us, we get a monthly report for them, and it shows either, a net revenue or it's a net revenue or net expenditure. And so we wait until year end to see what it washes out to, because a lot of months we will have a net revenue. So instead of doing this back and forth trading money, we usually just wait until year end. The last month, I think, we were way below that 131,000. But it's just hard to tell until we get to year end.
I guess what.
Because their expenditures may not be exactly, divided by 12 either, so.
Do we leave the 131 or leave it the same, or do we add the 100, go to the 165? If you think they're gonna be under.
Well, I mean, then we wouldn't be obligated to pay over if their expenses exceeded more than what they're thinking. But their budget right now is showing that our portion would be 165,000.
I guess how do they base that? If right now the projection is we're gonna be under this year's amount, how are they basing it to increase next year then?
I mean, that's just based on their next
see
year
what I'm saying, though?
expenditures.
In other words, the
It's
projection
just
is,
always an estimate.
yeah, the projection is to stay under 131
It depends on how many permits come through.
this last few
If
months.
it goes over, we didn't have it budgeted.
And we don't have to, according to her, according to the auditor. We're not obligated to pay the
It's
difference.
up to you. It's just, I think that was in the contract to be, if, we would never be on the hook for some huge expense that they incurred, if we didn't budget for it.
Okay.
That's where so again, completely up to you, but
Okay.
just letting you know, each of these is a little bit different. The contracts are all different.
I guess just leave it then. I hate to budget
And
for
as
more.
the city
when it comes
finalizes their
less.
budgets more, I mean, we can update these, of course, if we get updated information.
When-
Okay, the soil and water conservation, it's not really City of Waco, but we just have it stuck in there. And so this is where they will come forward and ask you for assistance during the year, and we will, of course, stick under that budget. But the
Same.
Conservation District is bringing that forward at some point during the year.
Same amount, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
HOTBHN, so no change to the amounts that they were requesting for their contracts.
Thank you.
These are very intertwined into all of our county departments and operations. And so just getting your thoughts there, if we're happy with those amounts the way they are, or if there's any changes that need to be looked at for any reason, but they are requesting the same amount.
I'm fine with it.
yeah, I'm good with that.
And then the other section, which kind of lumped in outside entities and other groups that we thought under economic development. So again, just kind of we looked at the top section, you'll see there the increases. So increases from Creative Waco, the Sports Commission, Brazos Trail, and Prosper Waco. I'll talk a little bit about that one in a second. But so those were increases above 2026. We do not have a new request here in this category. The Prosper Waco number, so Jessica Addis, of course, was here with us and she spoke on that. In the last couple of years, our funding for Prosper Waco has been $200,000. We have been able to use the opioid settlement fund to cover those costs. Right now, we don't have funds to cover that cost, but I know, the intent is that money will continue to be funneled into that fund. We just don't have a strict timeline of when that's coming. So we can,
State got most of that money.
Yeah, well, they were limited with what they can get, but well, no, you're right, that's right, they, did, but there is a,
Can we get an update from the attorney? We hadn't had an update.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't
Talk to
here.
her.
there was one big settlement they were,
Yeah, I can't remember who.
yeah, I don't either, but,
Any of that filtered down to us yet?
well, that's where
Obviously
it's
not.
hard to know just what fiscal year it will fall in.
Let's go back to that request. She had a two-phase request. One of them was 260-something thousand, and the other was 340-something thousand for those two different phases. Is that-
That's right. And Commissioner, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to mention that we, in addition to the ongoing BHLT funding, there was the request for the PACES program, which we had previously funded $50,000 for a study out of ARPA funds, but it was going to be a continuation of that program. And there was also a workforce training program that Jessica was going to present as well.
She did, but I can't support that, Judge.
which one?
Because the second one for certain,
Yeah, this, workforce,
that's $340,000.
yeah.
I think those initiatives can be handled some other ways by other people, maybe, I hope. But that's just a big chunk to swallow. And they talk about scholarships, but they're, out of that 340,000, there was only 75 people, I think, that got scholarships. The rest of it was professional development and our professional and personnel are operating costs, or something like that, which ended up making it like 80% of it was not directed back to an individual.
Yeah, I think the other part was that we talked about, there's numerous entities that are, working on, workforce development and job creation, those kind of things.
Anywhere from 70 to 80% of the cost was bound in
General admin.
professional team and administration.
Yeah.
Now, that's the 346.6. The other one has gone from 200,000 that we contributed, and they're asking for 260,000
Yeah.
this year.
I see more value in that one because, that's working with, all the BHLT and the, hospitals and others to, try to find, more access to care, but also the hurdles that we're dealing with now. More folks going in the emergency room, but the other side of it is an effort to, working with Pat Curry to get state and federal funds in mental health facilities on a more permanent basis.
Again,
This is in addition to the 263,900?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're done.
do you know if the city's approved this PACES Phase 2 yet, Judge?
Well, so Dustin, do you recalling that, I got an idea.
Yes. I believe PACES has already gone to council, and then the workforce is going, I believe in August.
Yeah, the PACES did get support. And so I think they were asking for more information on the other one. And, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but in July, they don't work on budget. City doesn't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so in August, it'll be right at the first week in August.
So that's 263,900. Last year's 200 of that amount.
I would at least say, and we don't have a lot of time, but hold that one, see what the city does, but I don't know that.
195,000 of that 263 is for professional team and administration.
Yeah.
And Dustin was helping me clarify the thoughts on this. I was just confused on this one, but I guess their request was the 200,000 we've been doing plus the 263. I apologize. I didn't.
That's correct. It'd be the 200 for the BHLT that had been previously funded by opioid and will continue to do so as that happens. Then the PACES 263.9 is an additional request, plus the third piece would be that workforce training component.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 3 separate items.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a big chunk to chew on. So they want the 200 plus the 263.9 plus the 346.6.
Yes.
Yeah, and, one, we get revenue from the opioid
Mac.
That's
deal,
the
but
200.
Yes, I apologize for the confusion. I was
So,
confused.
so the 263 is a brand new ask?
800,000?
Dustin, didn't we, on the PACES deal,
860?
that was that was just the opioid money.
No way.
Towards that, right?
Right. Well, PACES, the original 50,000, the original study, we contributed 50,000 to it under ARPA. And so this is the kind of phase 2 of PACES. But of course, we cannot use ARPA funds. They've already been obligated.
Yeah, right, I understand that.
So this comes out of general then? This phase 2?
I think it would have to.
Yes, sir. And I would say if, and it's something we could visit with Herbin, if we were ever able to get to the point where we had additional opioid funds beyond that 200,000 for BHLT, with this being the study on the healthcare delivery, it may very well fit in the opioid funding too. But that's something Francis and I can visit with Herb.
And you might have heard us, but, and I talked to her about this, but we need to, I'd like to get an update on that. Even if we do it before we get the other updates on, from the other legals, just to give us some input.
That's just a bunch to chew off, Judge, to be honest with you. Can I get a little whimsical for a second?
Yeah,
And I think I've shared this with y'all before, but I've thought about this a lot. Because this was, I'm gonna go all the way back to Davy Crockett, okay?
did you
This was
know
something
it?
when Davy Crockett, yeah, I knew him well.
Yeah,
He gave me my hat and everything. When he was a U.S. representative and campaigning, the Congress had bequeathed some money to a widow of somebody who, anyhow, long story, but he went around and there was a gentleman named Horatio Bunce who told him, he said, so you see that while you're contributing to relieve one, you're drawing it from 1,000 who are maybe even worse off than he. I think we have to be careful with that, because what he's saying is that if you take taxpayer money and you give it to someone or some organization that has a need, you may very well be taking that money from another taxpayer who has just as much need or more.
understand, yeah.
And I think that's how we have to be cautious with these outside entities that are asking for money. You're gonna, that money's coming from somewhere. And it could be from someone that has just as much a need or more. All right, I'm off my horse.
So what is the total ask there for,
So,
we're
so I
looking,
think you had mentioned it was close to 800,000 total, but it was 200,000 for BHLT, and that's what we've consistently taken from opioid if we have the funding.
Yeah.
The 263,900, which I thought was replacing the 200, but that's an addition, and that was for PACES, so that's what I think right now, if we're looking at it, would need to come from general fund. And then there was a $346,000 number.
That's right.
And that was for
workforce development?
workforce,
That
yes.
work for an upskill or whatever. Yep.
I was way,
So the BHLT was opioid,
yes, if there's funding. Right now, there is not currently, but we'll, like you said, we'll get with her.
That's the
so
200.
was the PACES, right?
If there is funding available, yes, I think that's where we just need to have some further conversation and see.
But
if
the
it can-
first tranche of the PACES was 50,000, is that
Yes, sir.
correct? So that's 100 and,
And that came from ARPA.
Gone from 50 to 263.
three.
I got a hard time with it. Is Ben still on? He got quiet there.
I do too, and with our current situation.
Well, are we gonna go back up and take out the increases on the right, the top?
OID.
Right here?
OPI, OID.
Because we're
I thought we would keep,
gonna keep it from
I would hope that we
126,
could
right?
keep everything then.
You're talking about the increases that were requested?
Yeah, I think. we're
Yeah,
just
so
gonna-
Oh, I found it, I'm sorry. Or did you just put that in?
Yeah, I
It's
thought we'd
tabulated
already
it.
agreed that we, except for those we talked about, and we
Yeah.
don't have a choice, we were gonna move them back to the 26.
Okay, so then at the top of that list, we had Creative Waco, Sports Commission, and Brazos Trail. So we
Yes.
will
Back
bring
to
those down
26.
to the
Back to
prior year
26.
levels. And then the other section is with Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce. That's stuck there in the middle. And so there are multiple lines. You have just our Economic Development Services Agreement is that $199,500. Below that is the Impact Data License portion that we pay. We split that with the City of Waco. The $50,000 is the digital talent recruitment tool in Waco. And then the $125,000 is the workforce initiative. spaceport is in there. We usually just kind of wait to see if requests come during the year. Some years we don't have any requests. But then the big piece there is the commitment of 4.5 million to the Economic Development Corporation, to WIMDEC.
Are we contracted, Judge, I think I've asked this before and you've explained it to me, but that 4.5 million, does Waco put the 4.5 million in every year too?
Yeah, but this year, Waco asked to drop their contribution by $1 million, and since it's 50/50, we would drop our contribution
I think that's a good idea.
of $1 million as
Because
well.
I know Ms. Collins, when she showed us that, the money she had in that Economic Development Fund, it was pretty stout.
Yeah,
But I know not all that was
so it's,
allocated, I guess, right?
No, it's not.
right,
So, but that is our money still.
that's right, it's our money.
So it could come back to us anytime we need it.
Well, we already have it. We're keeping it, and we give it to them. It's like a draw request on a loan. And so we hold the money. It could, it's ours. We can, an auditor
So
would
that-
say it's ours.
So that 4.5 million is going to go to 3.5.
Yes, if that's what that
Yes.
consensus is
Yeah.
there.
Which one of them is it, and I've asked this question every year, that Waco pulled out of, but it's still called something Waco, that we're funding all of it?
The in Waco?
That's in Waco.
See, that bothers me somewhat.
Yeah.
We're funding in Waco, and Waco's not participating. And Chris knows this, I've told her that. If we changed it to in McLennan County, I might feel better about it. Then they say, well, you don't have the name recognition. Well,
We got to get it someday.
yeah, you're never gonna get it if you don't get your name out there, so, one or the other. I think we either get a name change or we do away with it. That's just kinda, that's my personal feeling.
Yeah,
okay?
I don't
Not anybody
think,
else's.
I don't think in McLennan County, nobody would, people know where Waco is, they don't know. where McLennan
Good or
County-
bad, yeah.
Yeah, and when people say, I'm going to Waco, it may be they're going to McGregor and say, I'm going
That's
to Waco.
right, yeah.
But,
We found out about that with the Branch Davidian, didn't we?
yeah, we sure
They
did.
got
Yeah.
hung with that.
We sure did. Well, and that's an issue, when Waco stepped out of that.
Because the original agreement was 50/50. They
Yeah.
funded half of it and we funded half.
Right, right. So that's something we can, when we get into, start talking about all these other things where we deal with Waco with, if we pitch that in and say, are y'all gonna do that or not? You stepped out last year, or just, step out of it.
Just step out of it. Yeah.
Well, those last two, the
That's what I was
Pace
about to ask you.
and Prosper, I mean, are we going to wait, see what Waco does?
Well,
Or do
so,
those need to come back to
yeah.
reality?
Well, so one of them is the decision's been made by the city to do, and that's the PACES part. The workforce piece of it, the way I understand it, Dustin, correct me if I'm wrong, is that'll be addressed by the council on the first week of August.
That's right, and I believe the thought is it's going to be approved. It just hasn't reached that final vote yet.
Yeah.
What are they doing with 520?
It's a $600,000 program between the two, between us and the city.
What is that? What's that 600? I'm sorry, I wasn't here. I guess I can go back and look at. I watched.
Trying to remember.
Watch the meeting, but
Upskill, 2-year structured, deliverable, driven scope. A quarterly reimbursement with accountability checkpoint connects to worksite and EDSP goals.
that would be. I'm talking about PACES.
Oh, you talking about PACES?
Yeah.
Healthcare coordination and sustainability. Let's see, shared by the city, county, and philanthropy, staff position, updated data report. Well, I don't really have,
Waco Foundation and all
Part
those
of it.
for me as well.
I pulled up their presentation, but the one I have isn't the one they presented from, so.
Do you know specifically what they're gonna? That's a lot of money.
Yeah, so I think what we should do, and it's been a little while since I made the full presentation on PACES, if we're interested in that, then come back in talk about it. I think it'd be,
And what is the difference between Paces and that other 200,000 that they're asking for? What's that other 200,000 for them?
the BHLT.
That's embedded in the BHLT.
Yeah,
That's already in there.
because that group works real close together, but it's part of the, it's part of the overall effort. It's primarily driven around, mental health, but also, other access to care. But, Waco Family Medicine's a part of it, Providence, Hillcrest, the foundations, the City of Waco, McLennan County, the police departments, or SO, all those get weigh in about dealing with these issues. And from that same group is where the idea to build a crisis center
So,
partnership between
so
the city.
that's something that we've always been partners with, the BHLT. We've always, that 200,000. We've always done that pretty
For,
much.
I think since it started.
Since it
yeah,
started,
so
okay.
Several years.
But now, then both of these programs are brand-new programs?
As far as I know, we've never funded them.
The
Well, we
263
funded
and
the
the
PACES.
346 are both
Yeah.
brand-new programs?
So
Right.
Commissioner, the PACES, and I pulled up the detail that Jessica had presented that day she was here. The phase one was where we contributed 50,000 and we used ARPA funding.
That was last year. We put that
Yes, sir.
50,000 used
So
on.
this is phase two that they're asking for between the city, the county, plus other
But they're asking-
philanthropic
So
donations.
foundations and hospitals are putting money into it.
263 from us, 263 from the city, so much from the hospitals.
Yeah.
So much from philanthropic.
Waco Foundation and Rappaport. It's a pretty big community-wide effort. And, you know, we can arrange for another presentation to get, because I know you weren't here, Will, and,
Well, I don't have to do that, just, I mean, it's the first I've heard of it, and
yeah.
I can certainly, get up to speed without
Okay.
taking more time, anybody else's time.
The,
So it's not in there right now. The 200 was in
Yeah,
there.
it's in there now.
yeah,
The 263 is in there.
Yep.
Let's,
Okay, it's already in there.
I'm gonna stop
But
sharing.
not the, and is the 200, was the 200 already in there then?
So, no, we have not had that in general fund as of yet. So that's where we just have to, it's just kind of we're in a
Floats around now.
pending. Will we have opioid funds in the next fiscal year or not to cover that? We don't have an answer to that as of yet.
As of yet. So we haven't, we
So-
we may obligate ourselves, but we're just not sure from where the funding's coming.
Yes, that's where we need some information, like he said, we can get with Herb Bristow and see if he has any information that could
That would help us.
help us make that decision. But right now, we have it there, but just because if you want to proceed with it, we do need to be able to budget for it somewhere. And then we went ahead and layered in that 263, 346, just not knowing what that consensus was on that as of yet.
Staff.
Yeah, all that money we just saved is like going the other way again.
Can I run through some possible decreases that might help?
all right.
Is that possible?
Yes, sir.
And Francis, you'll have to tell me how this works, but we've got on the IT network switch project, if we leave it in the bond fund, that's $750,000 that we could
Yes, so
move, right?
currently, last month, I believe, John had presented a project for IT network switches. And so we were able to accommodate some of it in general fund. He had some funds, but the rest of it we put in bond funds because we just did not know if we were
So
gonna
we
have
leave
funds.
that over in bond and that doesn't,
So the intent now is that we were gonna move it back to general fund. So we have embedded it into projections because that was the intent. If you want to just leave it in bond funds, I know that wasn't what we originally wanted to do, but if you do, that would, better your fund balance currently.
And we could always
Spring
move
fiscal year.
it, like next year, next budget year, if the court chooses, they could move it out of bond funds to,
So not out of the fiscal year. If we close this fiscal year and we've charged it to one fund
yeah,
or the other, that's.
I understand that, but I guess a bond you can pay back anytime, but
we could pay it back after this this next fiscal
I'm not
year.
You
sure.
could use
can
the
you?
general, so you could use the general fund to cover something you might normally put in the bond fund. Like if you
Okay.
had like
Okay,
if you were looking at a
swap.
bridge project and it was
Swap it.
and it was $5 million,
Yeah.
we could cover a piece out of that, out of, when I say general fund, out of permanent improvement fund.
Okay.
but-
I'm for keeping it in the bond fund.
Okay.
I agree with that.
We've already talked about WIMDEC. We're gonna lower that $1 million to
Yeah.
3.5. Put a max, have we done this? Have we put a max on the incentive pay? Because we put a
So
a solid amount in there with taxes and benefits, I guess.
So we put the max in there. There's been some conversation about bringing that down to a max level, but we just hadn't come back to that and got consensus yet. So that's something that,
Judge mentioned 500,000,
yes.
and I'm okay with that.
So currently we have more than that just placed in the budget just because it was based on the calculation
Right.
per the policy.
I wouldn't mind a max, you know,
Okay.
set it at 500,000.
Okay,
That's it.
okay. So
And I don't know about how we would go about some of this, you could explain it better, Francis, about the SO vehicles, which I know there's gonna be some talk coming. I think our chief deputy is gonna come back, he's got some ideas on that that are gonna help also,
On the vehicles?
the vehicles, but
Okay.
financing somehow. How, is it
So-
possible we could finance those vehicles somehow?
definitely, and so.
We've done that.
Yeah, we haven't done it in a while, but if you look at the.
10 years ago, we
vehicles-
did it.
And so all the vehicles right now that are currently in capital, and that's SO, the DA asked for a couple, the constable and the engineer. There's about 1.2 million right now in vehicle request. And so, looking at putting that on and financing that amount, of course.
How
you'd have your
much?
first year
1.2?
1.2 million. That's all the vehicles. You may decide not to fund all those
Yeah,
vehicles.
and that's the one thing we gotta circle back around on capital.
100%, yes.
Okay.
We've got to circle back to that. So,
Okay. But that-
but financing them, of course, would spread that out over however many years you
Yeah, I
finance
mean,
them
that's just a
for.
thought.
And it is
Okay.
just, placing it in a.
Yeah, what we did last year is we put a matching deposit. Treasurer put some money, in a CD with a bank, and the bank turned around and loaned us money for the cars.
Oh, okay.
And we
When?
we were close to arbitrage, because their interest is tax-free if
When
they
was this?
chose to do it. Huh?
When?
Oh, it's about 10 years ago.
When we first got
Yeah,
here?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I thought you were talking about last
Well,
year.
Maybe
I
12
still know that number
13 years ago.
can probably be adjusted somewhat because the chief has got some ideas on
Yeah, no,
how to handle those vehicles.
yeah,
I did notice this, and I'll say this publicly. I noticed that the constable's vehicle is a nice Dodge Durango, and she said it was gonna be upfitted, which means it's totally upfitted. Is that correct?
yeah, they put all the
Okay,
stuff in.
and it was gonna be for 81,000, but those Tahoes are 100,000. So I'm
Upfitted.
thinking 19,000 difference times 12 vehicles is $1 million or something.
And I heard something about they're rethinking the Tahoes.
Okay, well, we'll hear back from him.
Yeah.
then. Okay.
I hope they are.
Is there any way to decrease the transfer to the juvenile board?
So, we don't talk about their budget specifics in here, but the transfer, of course, is in general fund. So, that changes this year in their budget. They had some increases for personnel. And so the juvenile board did approve that. The amount, I believe it is, I want to look at it so I don't quote it wrong. The increase, sorry. The increase of the transfer over last year was right over 350,000. And so you can always speak on that amount, and not agree with that funding amount. It would go back to the board, and then they would revisit the budget as a board.
What
And
does
so that
the
was, that's kind
350,
of how that goes back and forth.
what does that pay for? That
They
they
had
need?
personnel increases.
Is that, I mean, they're gonna have $350,000 worth of personnel increases?
They had about $160,000 in increases that they had worked with HR on. They always work with HR just as you do for their personnel. The increase also is just you push money into their fund, and then if they don't spend it, it rolls into the next year, or we use it to fund next year's budget. And it's just, so sometimes it's up and down, the transfer that is needed. And so that's why that, this year, it just depends on how much budget they, money they have
See if
left.
there's any
Yes.
wiggle room there?
Yes.
Okay. I think I think we got the rug pulled out under us on cutting outside entities. I don't know. I had in mind maybe cutting $60,000-$70,000 out of outside entities, but I don't know that, it seemed like we went the other direction. I don't know.
So if we can go back to that, because we didn't really, we just need some, I think, some final thoughts on that conglomeration of outside entities.
If you, yeah.
Well, I don't mind going back to it, but,
But we just haven't finished quite.
oh, we haven't finished yet, okay. And then I had some thoughts about cutting money to the library, cutting back to where we currently are, at least.
We did that, didn't we?
Did we do that?
No, right now we have it as they requested. So that was 1/6 funding level, and so it was 1.2 million, which was a $125,000 increase.
But yeah. I mean, those are just my thoughts, okay? Got a quarter, could be worth something.
Well, I definitely agree on the vehicles. That's and the max incentive or no incentive this year.
Well, yeah, no,
And then, we kind of caught a break on the WebMac.
Yeah.
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 I'm fine with matching Waco on that. And then I felt all along that the bond, those switches were prime bond.
Yeah, you brought that up.
In my opinion, the fact that they last 10 years and we bought other equipment that has been on the bond also too, so.
I know yesterday y'all talked about vehicles a little bit, and I know that Tahoes are expensive, but I know you don't want to get back into that rabbit hole where you didn't get any for a long time and then they just run out. But I mean, the only thing I like the cheaper vehicle, but when you start mixing and matching fleets
Yeah.
with oil filters and tires and this spare and that spare, stuff, that's the only thing I'm concerned about is getting.
The state seems to have a pretty mismatched fleet.
They do. They do. They're testing with these Durangos right now. They've got a few Durangos, but they have the Ford four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive Explorers. Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised that it seems that to be a very popular.
But we don't, out in the world, all across Texas, the High Patrol will just take it to lube shop. I mean, so it's not, we don't keep none of that stuff.
You don't have a garage.
You don't have a garage to do it.
We do have it in Austin.
Yeah, no.
If you're around Austin, those surrounding counties, you take it to Austin to the shops.
Well,
And everybody
does that mean
in
you have
Lubbock and Corpus Christi and stuff, you just go to a lube shop and then you don't have to store the filters and all the stuff and the spare parts.
Okay.
We're not talking about like one different, like if you're talking about switching all 12 of them to something, what you call it, Explorer? Or something?
Explorer, Durango, I think
I don't know
Durango.
what, either one.
Well, I tell you what, kind of concerned me is there's some different pricing in there and for different, a level of vehicle for different, why can't we just go with one?
So I think the chief is gonna come back and talk to us again, so
Yeah.
I guess we can hold that till.
And I think too, if we want to look at financing those vehicles for, taking next week when we're off, giving the sheriff's office time
We can
to
get you.
look at that, let us kind of dig into that financing and what the options are, and then that way, we could have all that
So you're thinking
concrete
you-
information to
You
present
could
to
cut
you.
like $1 million there or something, is what you're thinking?
Well, I don't think.
Oh, I don't think so, no.
And the difference between the
Yeah, you're-
Durango and the Tahoe. if
20,000.
Constable's accurate, it's $19,000.
Yeah,
That's about 200, that's about $250,000.
250.
Okay,
And then when you finance it, that spreads it out. Go ahead.
But there's only, there's only 2 Tahoes in the request.
let's
The
see.
rest of them are Silverados.
Silverado, yeah.
Vans.
Well, I thought
For
there were 4 in there.
For the Esso, there are 2 Traverse, 2 Tahoes,
They're all over the place.
6 Silverados, different types, but 6 Silverados, and then 1 Equinox.
Yeah, I think the Traverses are gonna be great for
I'm just a little
transport.
I'm a little concerned with this whole fleet being all the, I know they're all they're all GM vehicles with most likely transmissions that are going to go out in about 70,000 miles, which we have a history with. With any type of wear and tear, you know, there's a $70,000 Silverado pickup.
That's just plain, pretty plain Jane. That was the price, the one that's had the 3 transmissions.
Right.
Yeah, and then there's another one for 52.
Pickup? I don't know what that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Chief can come back and tell us that. He's gonna, I think
That's
he's
what
gonna
I was
stick it up
saying,
to
it's
us.
kind of all over the place.
Well, I think
I'm just bringing
I
it
think the admin Silverado is police package with probably 2 batteries, bigger brakes and all that, but I'm not sure that would be needed for that, if they're just pulling the boat with it,
Yeah,
you know, and the bomb stuff, so.
well, let's just see what they come back
But
with.
I mean,
See what Chief comes back and says,
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah.
Because Chief's been working, trying to come up with some ideas, and
Yeah.
he's hitting the road running and
Well, I think,
on the ropes. and-
And the jail transport, they might be able, we talked about maybe even they might get to hold off 1 year, you know, on the jail transport.
okay.
Also, I'm sorry, the copiers, did y'all pull those out? All but 3 of them?
Yes, sir. For the Esso, there's 3 copiers left.
Okay. And I thought, I think the city might want to come back, and they've got some ideas on also involving these other communities that are in the library deal, and so that's good. So we figure it all out next week, and then when everybody's back, then we'll come to the
We're
presentation.
scheduled for tomorrow morning, aren't we?
We are, if we want to meet.
Oh, you mean we can, it's a posted meeting, isn't it?
Well, today's posted, and it
Oh,
by
it was,
journey,
it was a
yeah,
It's a
recess.
recess and a,
recess.
recess.
if we want.
That's up to,
Or we can go all night.
Can.
well,
I just want to make the best of use of your time, you know, so if there's some of this information gathering needs to happen, you know, and we need to hold off on some of those conversations.
But it's up to you. If you want to talk some more, go ahead, and if we need to meet tomorrow, you tell us.
Okay. Could we talk till 5 today?
we can if you'll
I
answer
just-
one question.
I
for
want
me.
to
have a
make
little
sure that
break.
we go back to the big picture, because we've been talking all about all the
That's what I wanna
individual
say.
lines.
That's what,
That's
I
what I
wanna
wanna
make
say.
sure
that's how to close it
that
out.
we can
That's what I want to see.
clear mind, so, if we can
We're
go
all
back
gonna
to this
start
outside entity page real quick.
Oh, I shut
The what page?
The outside entity page.
I got it
just-
right here.
I didn't get I need to make sure I get the feeling of what y'all want. So we've made these adjustments through here, but those bottom lines for Prosper Waco,
No, I
we
don't
have
know.
them
We
there.
put
I
a
don't-
question mark or a,
Can you put $1? Well, I don't want
Can
to
we
put a
pull
dollar.
it and?
As far as our scenario that we're looking at, that's what I'm kind of trying to get at. So if we want to pull those down for now,
Well, it depends, really, is it Waco? Can Waco say no to those?
They haven't acted on them yet.
I mean, but they
they've
can
acted
say-
on the,
Paces and
that's so
BHLP are, we're kind of partners in that
Okay.
with them. The other one is different.
Prosper Waco?
Waco,
Yeah.
Well, it was called upskill or something.
that's the
Upskill.
job.
upscale is,
That's at 340,000.
yeah, and it was presented to both the city and the county, and, we haven't made the decision, and the city hasn't as of this time. they indicate they're interested in doing it. And they're gonna do the PACES deal because they see the value in it. And we're kind of on that one. We've been working for years together on that one, so.
But, and I don't disagree with that at all, Judge, but we also been working at a $50,000 level, and all of a sudden,
Right.
we're asked to work at a $260,000 level.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
we bought in at the 50,000, and that's a lot to chew all at once.
I agree, 100%.
That's the part that
To go
bothers
from
me.
What do y'all wanna do?
263, put in 50,000. I mean, I don't know that we were ever contractually obligated to. I know PACES is important. They're talking about staff and things like that.
I think there's been some good things come out of it. There has. I don't mind putting a 260 in, knowing that push comes to shove, some of it may have to come out.
I agree. Might not, yeah.
And it may, because we know where we're headed.
Well, Waco's in the same boat we are on a lot of other stuff, so if not worse.
So we'll leave that one in there for now, and then there's that 346. Do we want to just for discussion purposes?
Is that on the upscale?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, take it out.
I don't think we can go it.
Okay. So with those, like you said, we can come back as many times as you want to, but the net increase then in all outside entities, and this includes City of Waco and that $1 million drop in Waco economic development, is $325,609 compared to last year. If you look at last year to this year, or I'm sorry, this year to next year,
Say it again,
325,000.
increase.
Yes, sir.
Well, we did a good job cutting all the outside entities.
So we went from 1,355,000. Well, there was more than that because that didn't include that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Prosper Waco 463,900. So add, what's a million three? So their request was 1,355,000.
Our current budget
So
with everything, county economic development we had budgeted 10,221,823.
900.
That was fiscal year 26.
So 1.8 million.
And from that 10,221,823, we've added another $1 million? Or how much?
I'm not following.
Well,
Just from what, if we're placing this in what we just walked through in the budget, it would be a $325,000 increase.
325.
Yes.
So that'd be 10,5.
432.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So, again, just getting some consensus there, and we can get more information and then come
Consensus
back.
is, put it there for now.
Okay, so, I guess we can place that in. So, I know we said we needed to come back to capital outlay. I think it seems like the intent there is that we continue to look at vehicles, and that is a big piece of capital. And so I think we can, outside of these meetings, start gathering that information and be ready to bring that back to you. The week after next would be, I think, a plan, but I know that's something that may take a little time to.
All in on vehicles, including, is $1.2 million?
That was just for vehicles. And so you may
Is
decide.
that, but that's all departments?
Yes. So you may
Not
decide
just
not to do two for the DA, or not to do an engineer vehicle, but. it's
That
all in.
was if we fund everybody that wanted one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So you need to make that decision, and then we would look at the financing, if that's an option, on the ones you decide on.
Okay.
But I think just for the sake of time this afternoon, we can come back to that discussion when we have those other options available, including the sheriff's office ideas.
You want water?
Anybody?
She came up and got one.
So, we're gonna come back, now kind of some big picture ideas here, and I wanted to put some stuff in context. So, I'm gonna start, give me 1 second.
You're not gonna give us just a bottom line?
I want to give you some information that's going to help you that's going to answer some questions you've had, I think, so just bear with me. I won't take long, I promise.
You're trying to peek into the present before Christmas.
I'm marking the clock right here.
I'm gonna,
Said it won't take long. I'm looking. Got a timer on your phone?
There you go.
right,
You want me to go ahead and add it?
it's okay. Okay, I don't want to mess your system at all.
I just didn't know. Yeah.
Yes, no, I think that'll be good. Thank you. Sorry, we're making some adjustments for the things you just let us know, so. Okay, thank you. Fantastic. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I am gonna. Or do it at positive number, sorry. That's fine.
I forget this one.
No, it's my fault. I just should have rushed you. Okay, I'm almost there. Okay, I know we've been talking here and there about, sorry, I can't do two things at once. About, keeping our budget the same as last year, keeping our budget the same as last year. And so I kind of wanted to show you where we are as far as that goes and what is included in these numbers. So when we started this whole process, our budget request, outside of COLA and stuff, we were at about 168 million. That was that number that was on the front of our spreadsheet. So as of today, so this is just the first round of requests. This isn't COLA and those extra positions you've approved. But I just wanted to put it in perspective. We're at 164,376. So we've actually cut out of the original about 3.6 million just in discussions with all the departments. So last year, expenditures in 2026 were 161.5 million. So this number here, of course, you can see that, I'll do a formula. So our expenditures have grown 2.9 million.
Well, 2.855 sounds better.
2.855, yes. So, what made up that increase over last year? And so you'll see here this line, 2.167 of it was already, things that already had to be added on because they were embedded in personnel decisions. So change in retirement rate, step plan, advancements, additions we made mid-year. And so those were things we already had to layer on. And so the difference then is this 688,000, and that is a net of all the other increases and decreases in the budget. We had some very large decreases, we had some very large increases. And so when you look at, if we hadn't had these embedded personnel changes, it'd be a very minor change in operating 1 year over the next. So I just, I think
And that's
I did a
gonna
lot
come
of
every-
work to get that down, so.
That's coming every year, right, from now on?
Possibly.
Yes, it'll keep growing. But I just wanted to, we keep talking about comparing to last year, so I wanted to try to put that into perspective a little bit, if that,
What is that percentage
the
compared
2.85.
to divided by,
9%.
yeah. So,
1.7, okay,
one,
1.8.
So, and that's just a reflection of a lot of these talks and conversations and bringing the numbers down and departments being very flexible on their request. So this number here, I'm gonna, bear with me here again. So that $688,000 increase, this was just kind of big picture items. So we talked about what's contractual, is it hard to control? And so these are just some things that I just kind of broadly picked. So contractual, I had food services, dispatch services, our turnkey medical contract. So that was an increase of 316. Utilities, phone, internet, that's just, of course, based on our trends and what we're seeing, increased facilities. The increase, non-contractual for all law enforcement, jail medical departments was that 262. We had a large increase spread out among several departments in our maintenance and upkeep of facilities. And so we saw that with our discussion with TJ. We talked through some of that deferred maintenance items and just the increase in general maintenance. And that included the fairgrounds as well. And then capital outlay was an increase of 680 over last year. And so that's where we will continue to look at capital outlay and the financing options and other options that the sheriff's office may have as well. And so then, other than that, to come to that net increase, we had another 1.5 million in decreases. So list of increases and then net increases, decreases, other than those larger lump sums. So I just wanted to show you that you had, talking about comparing it to last year, you have done a lot of work and have gotten very close to what that looked like last year. Okay. So then we'll go back to the main summary. I'll just show it since I'm here. Yeah, you're good. Okay. So we will.
Got a drum roll?
How do I change over to this? Do I have to stop share?
No, you can just hit the share button again.
No.
Funeral dirge.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's just me.
The
Okay.
joke drum.
So here we are, back to our main summary. So again, the yellow box is our current tax rate. You'll see there our beginning fund balance, 49.2 million. That has changed a little over the last couple of weeks, just because we have another month of data. We can update our projections. So we will start the year right under 31%. So these are the revenues based on current tax rates. And then our expenditures. So we just still have this not all together, just because we're making changes on the fly. But there at the top, you'll see the 165.1 million. So that's spread out among all departments. That's what we just looked at, and how that compares to last year. And then down here are decisions that we have some consensus on. So COLA for non-step positions, that was the 3.71% that Anna mentioned. New positions.
Are we
100%
sure on the COLA?
So that's still a decision that we need to, get confirmation on for sure. But just, that's what this number is related to. And we can play with that number and show you what different scenarios would look like. The new positions, those are things that we marked yes today on Anna's spreadsheet. I know we had things to come back to. The salary increases, again, what you walk through today, the other pay types and considerations. Those four lines all being personnel related and things that we have consensus on at this point. The other piece, I know we haven't touched on this since I spoke, but this is the health fund contribution that we have plugged in. This is 10% of what we currently budget. And so we can look at other scenarios there. Of course, you can put in even more, 15 or 20%, but this was just the 10% increase, just a number to start looking at. Outside entity, that's the number we just plugged in based on the decisions, or I shouldn't say decisions, on the consensus you have at this moment in time for all of those entities. And I messed that up, sorry. And then there was this 750,000 for the network switches, which will flip the projections in the other direction. So all of that being said, this then would be your bottom line, this 35.6 million. It's 21.5% of operating expenditures.
We would set it 21.5 on surplus. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everything's
We have, of course, this gives us a good glimpse. All of the things that you've given us consensus on and the things you decide, over the next week, we will go in with a fine-tooth comb and tweak and update. And so you may see changes the next time we get together, but it should be very minimal. Okay, so that being said, give me 1 second again. And on this spreadsheet, we can play with the tax rate here, but I had another sheet that I thought may be a little bit easier to look at. I should just let Haley do this. Okay. Since we made these changes, I'm gonna update this. Okay, so, we talked about expenditures, just looking at baseline year over year. I've now loaded in like the COLA, the extra positions, the outside entities, into this number. So right here, the column I've highlighted, this is what 2027 would look like with the current tax rate. The expenditures as we have them right now. And so I know we just looked at the percentage and we were at 21%. This spreadsheet has a factor built in of a 3% under budget. So it's kind of trying to estimate and come to that. And so I know this year our percentage under budget was not 3%, but I think it was an outlier year. And I still think that 3% under budget may be a good number to hover on.
What were we this year, you thinking?
So this year, I can tell you exactly. Can you put that percentage under budget?
Just what we have right now.
Yes, for 2026, sorry. I think you already had it. No, sorry. We'll get that for you here in just a sec, Commissioner. So that is
A
just.
big portion of that under budget, but that is we added, what are we up to now? 13
positions.
13 positions?
So we had that. We also just had some very large expenditures. I know we talked about that IT, those IT network switches. We've now decided to leave those outside general fund, but just some things that came up like that through the year. And so, but again, we're just trying to budget more realistically each year and bring budgets down closer to what people are spending. And so, it's just, we don't want that to get too close to being very flush with budget. We want to have a little bit, but it's just going to vary year to year. So we're 0.7%, we came 0.7% under budget, is what our projection is for.
Less than 1%?
Yes, sir. So we still have 2.5 months to go, but that's just, of course, based on our best projections that we can make at this time.
And that's what I was saying a while ago. We worked hard every year to kind of get that down tight.
Yes.
And so.
Yes, sir. So this, again, has that 3%, and I can alter that, but it was just, just something to look at, and so.
Well, but when you unalter it, we were like 21%, right?
Correct.
A 0.21, yeah.
And I can take that out of this scenario as well, or change it. But this, I just made, so this was with no change to the tax rate. So I just wanted to kind of show you, this is just me throwing this out there. I'm not trying to put words in any of your mouths, but like even if you did, if there was an extra penny on the tax rate, starting with this fiscal year, you'll see here how, that fund balance changes a little bit better, but not significantly.
What's a penny and a half like we did last year?
So that brings us to 27%, again, with that 3% under budget factor.
What kind of tax rate to get to the 30.9, or where are we?
33?
So it's 3 cents.
Oh, it's 3. I got you.
Yes.
You said
Yes.
yes. Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir. And so I wanted to just show here, again, I have 3 cents plugged in here. So just looking at this year, if you look at that orangey pink line, that's the delta between your revenues and expenditures. So just throwing that out there, the 3 cents, that brings you down to a 4.4 million difference. And then you'll see there over time, there is, you know, just based on those predictions, FY '29, you actually come where your revenue is more than your expenditures. And then it balances back out. It's just based on, you know what, that's because this formula's wrong. 1 second, y'all.
Based on revenue growth rate, is that what you?
Yes, sir. So based on, you know, just
3%.
trends, your revenues would exceed your expenditures with a 3%, if you were holding your expenditures to 3% growth too. That's what's embedded in here. So you'll see there, like FY '29, your expenditures have grown to 178 million, and your revenue is about $1 million more than that.
You
So-
kept everything the same except the step plans and all that, right, theoretically?
Yes, so this line here, Commissioner, I probably should explain this a little bit before I started. So this number here, I plugged in this 167. Those are expenditures to date that we have locked into this budget. But then these numbers, if they move forward, I just have 3%
Sure.
growth there. And so, you know, appraised values are 1, 2, we embed 5%. This year, I believe it was over 6. And so, you know, we do the best, but I think in the end, you're gonna have some under, some over your estimates. We just keep track on them. But that's what that 3 cents looks like. And so you'll see there that your fund balance is steady, it is growing and getting back to the reserve level that is your goal, that is your max goal. And then it's correcting that delta between revenues and expenditures for sure.
Yeah.
I was just curious, I was gonna put in 2 cents. At 2 cents, you'll see there, that difference between revenues and expenditures, gets back to flush 2030. And you would also, you know, your fund balance stays pretty steady, bumps up to 31% in that final fiscal year there. But all estimates, of course, and we don't know what will occur, what, you know, restrictions may be placed on the tax rate in coming years. So this is just based on what we know at this time.
Questions?
I know I was trying to make it very collapsed and kind of simplistic. So
Good job.
if it's too simplistic, tell me, because I can expand any of these and we can dig in.
I think you're reading the crowd.
I'm just gonna bring this back down to 0 for now.
So we're gonna come back and visit capital.
So, yes, so we need to get consensus on capital for sure.
I'd like to also to visit, perhaps, I don't know how much it would help, furniture and equipment.
Yes,
Because
So-
I'm just convinced that, you know, maybe we don't need to spend a lot of money on furniture right now.
and you
Yeah,
know,
I'm,
that's something.
and I'm fixing to send it, but I'm cutting furniture out of mine, so.
So I think we can do it on a lot of them.
We can extract all those F&E lines out of all the departments. We can kind of send those out and, you know, find out, I think someone mentioned, you know, is there equipment in there that's necessary for them
Yeah,
to
that's what
operate?
I wanted to be sure
Yeah,
we looked at.
necessary or just one.
But a lot of it, you know, when a department, like when a laptop breaks, a printer breaks mid-year, departments are using that line for those types of things. And so a lot of them, you know, especially in a larger department, they're going to have stuff that breaks down. So they're using it, but it's hard to track, it's hard to trend. And so a lot of them will have money placed in there just for what ifs. I think if you wanted to do something where you know that contingency, if you wanted to put more in contingencies for those types of things.
And pull a lot of that out. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah,
just know
that's
that
what
my laptop
Commissioner-
died, I don't have money in my budget,
Yeah,
things like
Commissioner
that.
Perry had brought that up, yeah, pull all that and just put a little bit more in contingency.
Yes.
Just in case. The other thing to think about, quickly, and I'm sorry.
No,
is between now and the end of the year, those fund transfers that we've got something over here, so we're gonna we're gonna order more over here. We're gonna pull it, supplies, taking out of supplies, taking out of furniture and equipment, moving it around. If those aren't absolutely necessary, if they're hedging for next year, if they've got, if they're buying stuff for next year, we need to tell them no.
Or pull it out of,
Builds our fund that
or
will build
pull
our
it,
fund balance.
or pull it out of next year's budget.
Yeah, or pull it out, yeah, one or the other. Or And say no to anything that comes up between now and then, unless it's an emergency item that says, we don't have it in this year's budget. You know, it's not in this year's budget, we need to take it out of general fund. We need to protect our general fund as much as we can.
And that's the, kind of the beauty of the budget amendment, that they are all brought to you. And so you can.
And that's what I'm saying,
You
we
can
need-
ask for as much information as you would like on
Yeah,
those,
we
of course.
need to
and,
start saying no at some point, because some of that's just hedging for next year.
I had a really good conversation on the jail booking area yesterday. There's a lot of dead, wasted space in there that can be, make it a lot more efficient, especially with the new stuff coming up, and that's gonna have to happen eventually, but
Do you agree we need to get a consultant?
yes. Yes, especially with the new stuff, because it's, the area is so big, and
It's huge.
you could make a U shape, you could come in with a concave like this, and I definitely like it raised up so the bad guys can't jump over.
Yeah, you're looking down.
But, yeah, there's a.
It's as big as this room right here, just closed.
Just the deck is, the deck might even be bigger than this room, and it's a lot of wasted space on the inside. So, but yeah, I think that was a good talk yesterday.
What else, Francis?
So I'm here to go for, but I think we've kind of touched on everything and you've seen everything in some capacity. We have a lot of consensus on things, and that's definitely not the final word, ever.
Or tomorrow?
I think you've given some homework to different parties, including our office, including Anna, Sheriff's Office, and so we can gather what you've asked for. But I think just showing you here, kind of what we're up against here, I think you've made, like I said, you've made a lot of move to cut some things out of the budget. And so I just wanted to show you your,
So you're saying you think
Yes.
we're all right not meeting tomorrow and coming back next week? Week after. Yes or no?
so I think some of the things that you're still pondering are things you need some more information about. And I don't
Yeah.
think that would be ready for the morning. And that's why I said,
Good point.
we're always ready to meet, but I just want to get,
That's a good point.
I want to value your time and not,
Okay.
You got a lot of
Can you
copies.
send this?
I can,
Yeah,
yes.
please.
So we don't need to come tomorrow.
So when
I
you
think
gather
we're
it out,
okay.
you're gonna
Can you, when you send that, send the 1.5 and the 2 and the 3?
scenarios, all the
Yes,
different.
and the way this spreadsheet is, it's not locked or anything.
You can play with it
Oh,
yourself.
I can play with, oh, all right, gotcha.
And if you mess up a formula or something, just call me and
Never mind.
it's just yours. You can do whatever you want to, but I can set those up. But I would encourage you, like, I know we're not meeting next week, so if there's anything you think of, or we need to dig in a little further, gather data, gather history, let us know at any time, and we will, that way we can be prepared when we come in that last week.
Okay, we'll all be out next week for the meeting, for the deal. And what about Commissioner Perry?
Yeah, he's out.
Oh, you and I still be here. We'll take care of things.
We got your budgets.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
If y'all want to meet
Literally.
outside,
We've got your budgets.
Do you take credit cards?
Yeah, they charge you 1.3.
All right, Francis, anything else?
I don't have anything else today.
Okay.
Thank you all for your hard work.
Well,
Anything else to come before the court, we stand adjourned.